Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, House of Havoc proudly presents their podcast tag team champions of the world. The big guy, Chris Johansson, the muskrat Alicino, and as always, I'm that J-I-double-M-Y, the death of Kayfabe. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of The Death of Kayfabe, our pro wrestling podcast here at the House of Havoc. Today, we're going to be covering all things current pro wrestling, pretty much the month of December. So right away, we're recording this on January 1st, 2022, just a few short hours before the day one card. This will release after the card is ended, but we're going to give a little preview and prediction of what we think is going to go down. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to our man, Big Whitey.
First off, let me say Happy New Year to you guys. So day one, new pay-per-view for WWE. And right now, there's 8 matches on the card. Good number. They're going to start off with Cesaro and Ricochet versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Let me just say this. I have no idea who Ridge Holland is.
No clue. And this is a kickoff show match.
Yes.
Yeah. No idea who Ridge Holland is. I mean, yeah, so this is going to be a little hard for us. If you guys are familiar with our debut episode, we are kind of more on the AEW train. We stay involved. We stay up to date. I haven't watched a full Raw in well over a year at this point. But we're going to do our best. And we're going to get more into it, as we get deeper into the pod. But right off the bat with this match, I mean, you guys watching, you got anything on this?
Every time I hear Cesaro's name, I get upset. I get mad that he's critically underutilized for his entire career. And that's just how I feel about it. So, And would you say Sheamus?
Sheamus.
Yeah.
So Cesaro's tagging with Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
Weird team, but that's Vince.
Okay.
And Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland, I believe, is like another Irish guy. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
So we'll just say this. It's a throwaway match on what looks to be like a big card. No Charlotte on the card, but we'll see what happens with this one. I don't know if there's any fallout from like Cesaro and Sheamus's former run as a tag team.
Yeah, he's in. Yeah. I just looked him up. So Ridge Holland, he is from Yorkshire, England.
Oh, okay.
6'1", 253, trained by Marty Jones.
Okay. So it's gonna be, it's star power because you got Sheamus and Cesaro, Ricochet. I don't know what they've done with Ricochet.
Not a lot.
I mean, I've never been a fan of his from the WWE booking. I can't say that I've seen him outside of WWE. Okay. Supposedly he's a phenomenal wrestler.
He's never been a WWE guy because
95%
of it, well, not even that, 95% of his emphasis is on his in-ring work. And, you can't succeed in WWE if you can't drive character points.
Yeah.
You're just a guy that flies around a lot. What do you know about Ricochet, the character? He's
Nothing.
been here for 5 years now. What do you know about him?
Nothing.
Roughly 5 years he's been there, right?
Yeah. Well, he was NXT for a little while. I think 3 years he's been on the main roster at least.
And he's got no character.
No, they were tagging him weird for a long time. They're tagging him weird again with Cesaro. I mean,
yeah,
either put him with like a Mysterio, put him with guys that are more his size, which Vince likes to do.
Trying to get him on the card. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I understand he's a high flyer, and the thing is Vince is kind of getting rid of a lot of those high flyers. So, it's to me it seems like a throwaway match, just like an opener. They're going to throw
100%. It's going to get a C grade in my book. I can already tell you it's going to get a C grade.
Yeah.
This guy got drafted to SmackDown as part of the draft a couple weeks in November 5th. So a little over.
Was he an NXT guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
For 3 years, and he said to Sheamus that he's his idol backstage, and Sheamus took him under his wing. So he's actually referred to as Sheamus's protege, and he's going to make his debut pay-per-view tonight.
Okay. So this is what this seems like to me.
So they're going to go over.
What it seems like to me, it's either a showcase for this guy, Ridge Holland, or it's what are we going to do with these 4 guys on the card? Because every other match carries weight based on just what I keep up on WWE. Right. Where this one is just kind of like a let's get the guys on the show.
Match almost always, with the exception of the rare bullshit title match, is just filler and getting guys to
100%.
work. Get guys to work.
So
Get 'em on the
what starts the card? The real, let's call it the real card.
Well, I mean, again, you could go. There's any way you could open the show. I mean, you got the rest of the matches all got juice in them. I mean, the next match on my list, you got Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss was he's the guy that came out with Gronk. He was like the former NFL guy.
Mhm.
I forget what his name is.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So they're trying him and Corbin are together, and they're kind of doing like they're trying to build up Madcap Moss. He's a good looking guy, good athlete, got the good body, he can work a little bit. But I mean, you're putting him against Drew. Drew's coming out all that momentum last year. Had a great, maybe not last year was the best year he had. They didn't have him in the title picture anymore, but Drew's got to go over in this one. And what are they doing with Drew? Are they going to reestablish him as like one of the top guys?
They need to, because they're begging for stars. He didn't have his WrestleMania moment, because there was no fans there. I think he deserves it.
I read somewhere, now, this isn't Meltzer reporting it, at least not that I read, but I read somewhere just recently that the plans for this seem to have been Drew against Jeff in some sort of number one contendership role. And then what happened with Jeff happened. By the way, if you guys aren't aware, we haven't been on Jeff once again, Jeff Hardy, that is. Rumor is he refused a drug test again for the second or third time in his career. They sent him packing.
Well,
some of the rumors are he did it on purpose to get to AEW.
Well, what I heard was that they offered him rehab and he refused rehab. Not that he refused the drug test. He refused.
Not the test, the rehab.
I heard he refused rehab too.
Rehab, yeah. They said to him, we want to get you help, and he said, I don't need help. And then
there's something weird that went on in a dark match. It was a 6-man tag. I forget who was involved, but he was the live man.
It was the Usos and Roman, and then it was.
Did you see this, Ant? Was it him, Woods?
I saw him walk off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was any of the New Day guys. It might have been like McIntyre and somebody else, like another face. So
the point is, he was working kind of sluggishly, kind of reminiscent of that Victory Road debacle. And he was the hot man. He tagged out and kind of just security. He rolled out of the ring, kind of tried to get away without people really noticing, and security brushed him out through the crowd. And then they sent him home.
Yep.
And then they cut him 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, and I'll never ever speculate that he did it purposely. Well, I think that's a Bush League take.
Now his Twitter name is not the handle, but like the username that comes up. It's Brother Nero #deleted.
Well, he has to do that because he can't use Jeff Hardy. So all those things.
He can. It's his name.
No, that Jeff Hardy is his name. Yeah.
I thought
Jeff Hardy's his name. He could use Jeff Hardy.
Because Matt Hardy.
I guess. Yeah.
He can't use charismatic enigma.
Yeah.
Or not charismatic enigma. Extreme enigma.
Yeah.
You can't use those rainbow-haired warrior nicknames like that.
Yeah.
But
all the WWE stuff. Yeah. So I think it's a shame for Drew, because Drew really came into his own last year. And I think he needs to be in a big program. I think he's a star. He's a big
guess
elite in ring worker.
I would guess that he's going to try to make this guy look strong, but ultimately wind up going over.
100%. I agree. 100%. So next match I got on the list. Again, this is not the order necessarily that the card is going to be on there. I'm just going. I forget what website I got this off of. But I
think I was just on Fightful, so we could just say Fightful.
So this is just the card. So the next match we have is Edge and Miz. What can you say about this? I mean, they cut the whole promo. Edge and Miz were in the ring 2-3 weeks ago on Raw, and they cut the whole promo about how, you got other guys on other channels mentioning you. Miz is arguably the best talker in the WWE currently. Just as a performer who can talk. Heyman is the best talker in WWE, but who else can talk like Miz? And I think they give Miz a little bit more leeway because he is so good on the fly. And I remember back in 2011 where everybody was shitting all over Miz. I think Miz is one of the top guys in WWE and has been for years. He's consistent. He's a good performer.
Incredibly consistent and doesn't get hurt.
He does everything they ask him to do.
Always generates a reaction.
I think
always,
yes. I think he's a heat seeker. He knows how to get heat.
Yeah, dude, that chick magnet shit was great.
Oh yeah,
the chick magnet character was amazing.
I thought the character he went into WrestleMania against Cena was awesome. I'm awesome. You can hate me now. I don't give a shit. That was some great work that he did. I think Edge really needs a win. Edge has come back. and hasn't won a lot. And I know that doesn't really make a difference. He's a legacy performer at this point more than he is on a weekly performer. But I think Miz could stand to lose 100 times, and people would still pay to see him lose. I think Edge needs to go over in this match. And what are they doing with Edge after this?
I say Edge does not go over in this match because we never miss an opportunity for cross promotion with Vince, especially with the networks he works with. Miz and Mrs. season 2 or 3 is about to pop off, or is in the middle of popping off.
Yeah, I still think Edge
Miz
goes
seems
over.
to only show up recently. I mean, not that he's not a part-time guy, but he'll take time off, and every time he comes back, he's hand in hand with something else he's doing.
Yeah. No, I think these are two capable performers. I think they have a potential to have one of the better matches on the show.
Yes.
I'm going to say something stupid. I don't think Miz needs WWE anymore if he doesn't want it. I think he has a career outside of it if he really wanted to.
His show is entertaining.
It is very entertaining.
It's entertaining. You know what I mean? It's
Dude, I know he was training at the time and it was all a ploy to get to where he got. But if you go back and you watch those first 5 seasons of the challenge he's on, he's eating all of that camera time. There's 30 other people on this reality, or maybe not 30, 15, 20 other people on this reality show. And that show's at its best when him and Theo Von are going at each other.
100%.
So, I mean, and he always said, call me the Miz, because they called him Mike. And he said, call me the Miz. It's my pro wrestling. This is where he came up with the Miz, was on the Real World and ultimately on the Challenge. So, I think at this point he doesn't need WWE, but I don't think he ever needed it. I think he wanted it.
Yeah, no, I think, I just, the comparison between MJF and The Miz, like, you can make it. You could definitely make it. I don't know if WWE do they really want that comparison? Like, is that what they're looking for?
No.
Because I think...
No, that's all brought upon by MJF. MJF trolls The Miz as much as he possibly can because I think he sees himself in The Miz. Because The Miz... Had Miz come along, when he came out, when did he debut? 2008?
Earlier than that.
Okay. So
6, 7.
So 6, 7. If he came out like The Miz at that point, like MJF at that point, or I'm sorry.
He debuted on the ECW brand.
Right. So say he debuted now as that.
He debuted in 2003.
That character, I think he's way over.
Miz debuted with WWE or with OVW?
No, 03 he might have been on like developmental, but he was not on TV till
Ultimate Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, 06, 07. You know what I mean?
Or he was like there for like the tail end of OVW and then kind of Florida.
Tough Enough, 04, main roster.
Tough Enough competitor.
Yeah.
Main roster 2006.
2006.
So anyway, I think, again, it could go either way.
I think Edge goes over. I think you're right. I think he needs to win desperately.
He just needs, because what matches has he won since he's been back?
When Edge first came back, you'd think, obviously, you're going to make it seem like, one thing compared to another, but I thought he was going to be more of a, not saying every week worker, but I thought he was going to be at least a couple times a month. I thought we were going to see him, and we haven't. So it seems like it's like one of those special occasions. I know he got hurt.
Well, he doesn't need to be in the title picture.
I would love to see him.
They got to do something with him, because having them be in these feuds and
why can't we re-legitimize the mid-card straps and give them to like main event level talents? Because the IC title and the United States title might as well be a fucking roll of toilet paper right now.
They might as well be the 24/7 title.
Yeah, they're just as bad.
Who is the IC title holder?
It's either Sammy or
not Sammy.
Who's
not
he
Sammy.
feuding with? Sammy's feuding with the guy who is the
Lesnar. He's feuding with, really, right? Weird.
Sammy.
Is it Sami Zayn?
Oh,
is it Shinsuke?
He was.
I don't even know. U.S. title, I don't know either, dude. I don't know.
And this is the problem with WWE. Shinsuke is the Intercontinental Champion, and Damian Priest is the United States Champion.
I should have known that. Damian Priest with his he's like having little temper tantrums and shit. Not for me.
You know, Pizza Guy Rick. Rick, he came to my house for WrestleMania that time. Damian Priest apparently is his cousin.
Pizza Guy. Who's Pizza Guy Rick?
Rick, who came to my house for WrestleMania.
Oh yeah. I know who we're talking about now.
So every time I see him.
All right, prove it, Rick.
Well, every time I see
bring him down.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's like, you see my cousin on TV. So this is a shout out to my guy, Pizza Guy Rick.
And if he's really your cousin, get him on the show, dude.
We know somebody that we were friends with years ago, and his uncle is Bubba Ray Dudley.
No shit.
Yeah, distant cousin.
Oh, you told me about this.
distant
yeah.
cousin.
Uncle,
yeah.
distant cousin, whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Not so far distant.
Not
He says
super distant, but he only saw him at a few family events. It's not like he's at Christmas.
yeah,
Eve.
because he's busy doing other shit, but he showed up, dude. Like, he's there, you know. Yeah, so I go Edge over Miz because Miz can eat the loss. I don't know how many losses Edge can eat, and then we still care about him. You know what I mean?
Well, we know as people who've been watching for a long time, Edge, he doesn't need wins. But for a newer viewer who just got into wrestling, if you were watching Edge lose over and over and over and over again,
What's the hype of this guy?
then what difference does it make?
Right.
So that's why I'm saying he could just use the win more than Edge at this point. I mean more than Miz. Edge needs the win more than Edge. So, all right, moving forward. Next matchup, we have the Raw Tag Team belts. RK Bro, which is Randy Orton and Riddle, are taking on the Street Profits. A couple different ways you can go with this. You could have the Street Profits go over and have the RK Bro breakup.
Yeah.
Which, do we really think that Riddle is being helped out that much by Orton? Because
Yes.
yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
he was failing. He was on his way back to NXT or possibly out of the company for good. They didn't have anything for Randy to do. It's the classic, this guy's failing and we don't have anything for this vet to do. Let's put him together and see what happens.
It's like
it works at a 50% clip. It's working right now.
To me, I view it the same as like the Kane Daniel Bryan tag team from a few years back, the Yes No tag team. It's the odd couple that Vince loves. And again, Street Profits are arguably the second biggest or the third biggest tag team in WWE right now behind the Usos and New Day.
Yeah.
So they could use the tag belts.
I am a big fan of tag team championship being tag teams.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of rewarding, like the Street Profits have a good gimmick in my opinion. They have a good work rate. I think they they should Usos. They should be carrying the brand. Like that's how it works.
I had an issue with the second ever, especially after they sold how great their tag team division, which it is, they've gotten there. But AEW sold in the beginning how great they're going to revolutionize tag team wrestling. It's going to be important again, this and that. Their second ever champion is an oddball team, Kenny Omega and Hangman.
I thought they were the first champions.
No,
they?
First champions were Kazarian and
Scorpio
Sky.
SCU. Right.
And I had a problem with that because, they're kind of Hangman's always kind of been in the elite, but also kind of his own man. And
well, Cody was in the elite, and there was never any. Cody said it. One of his.
Well, the word is they're not even really friends anymore.
Oh, really?
Because Cody's so big. Word is they haven't had any personal between Kenny and the Bucks and Cody. They haven't had any personal conversations in well over a year.
Well, I'm not gonna. We'll get into that.
Yeah, that's for another time.
Because I have something to say about Cody, but we won't get into that.
All right.
But yeah, as far as adding those teams, I think they'll let it go on a little longer before they break up.
Here's what I got to say on this. I think they've already tried, kind of, unless they're smarter than I'm giving them credit for, and it was always just a work. I think they've already kind of tried to tease breaking them up, and they know that there's going to be a significant fall off for one, if not both of them, when they do break up. It's WrestleMania season. You don't have that much time. You can't have them lose today, break them up, because I think when they lose, they break up.
Yeah.
Whether or not they lose, get a rematch, and then break up after the rematch. You don't have enough time to rewrite Randy into another story for WrestleMania.
Well, here's my question: Do you keep them together till WrestleMania?
Yes,
and they fight. Yeah, that's what I think.
If anything, you have them drop it. Are they gonna? No, they wouldn't wrestle. Would they wrestle for the tag belts at the Rumble? Do they do that still?
Sometimes.
So if anything, you might have them drop it at the Rumble.
The problem is the Rumble now is so loaded. It's a 4.5 hour, 5 hour show because you have
two Rumbles.
2 Rumbles.
That's 90 minutes on the 90 minutes apiece.
Right. So again, I guess RK Bro has to go over in this one because if they're going to keep it together, you can't have them lose the belts.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me for a legitimate tag team to keep taking losses when these guys walk away, right, for their greater good, their better story, their singles match.
2 singles guys.
You're hurting the division. You're not building it up, and that's why I just can't. I just can't.
I just can't see them losing and staying together as a tag team and hanging around and do the whole sit out for 2 programs and get a few good wins and then you work yourself back into it around Survivor Series of next year. I don't see them doing that. I think once they take the belts off of them, they're going to split them.
Randy Orton.
Do whatever they want to do with Randy, and it's probably whatever Randy wants.
Well, they're going to have them feud eventually. I mean, because when 2 singles guys get together as a tag team and win their straps and then they go apart.
They always do. It's
inevitably
tried
they
true,
have to
yeah.
feud. You know what I mean?
I would love nothing more in my life to see Randy Orton still working, being able to move, go to AEW.
I would too. I just think he's such a Vince guy.
Nah, he's
three
WWE
generations.
lifer. He's a lifer.
And he's got to be one of these guys that's getting over $1 million a year now.
He should just
100%. But
Yeah.
I would love it. I would love it. He would thrive there. I believe.
Randy, in my opinion, needs to be in the title picture all the time because he's that good.
He could carry the company. He's young enough
could be,
still.
He should be, but he also. I mean, if Randy's in the title picture all the time, where's the new stars? Where's the?
No, I understand, but they did it with Ric Flair in the 90s. You know, Ric Flair, who is at that point, you know, not that Randy's past his prime. I mean, Randy's probably at the end of his prime.
Right.
But Ric Flair in WCW would be putting guys over and still within that title picture, but never won the title at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was putting the Benoits, the Guerreros, he's putting all these guys over, and he did it with like say the ice, the US strap or the TV strap, So there's ways around it, but he
Of course, yeah.
he should be one of those upper echelon guys, and I guess as a tag champ he is. So I guess we're all in agreement here. We'll take RK Bro over the Street Profits.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that we've discussed, I want to just bring this up and then we'll move on. We've discussed this not really ad nauseum, but it comes up like every year or so. I don't know if I ever brought this up to you, Anthony, but we're kind of have this theory that it's kind of worked into his contract that he needs to be in one of the 3 or 4 biggest main events.
Feature WrestleMania.
One of the 3 or 4 biggest WrestleMania matches of the
Orton?
year every year. Yeah. Because it kind of made no sense the year he just came in and took the strap off of Bray Wyatt, right?
It made no sense.
It made no sense. He came out of
And they
nowhere.
have a vendetta against Bray Wyatt. I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, that's why he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Next match.
Next up, we got the SmackDown tags. And again, every time these two teams get into the ring with each other, you're in line for potential classic. We got the Usos versus the New Day for the tag straps.
Yeah.
Usos
Or
challengers?
champs. No, champs.
Usos are champs.
And it's New Day, Woods, and
Woods
Kofi.
and Kofi.
So, like, this is going to be my first if, right? Because this is the good old if-then statement. If Roman's going to retain, Usos need to win. Need
Yes.
to retain. If Roman's going to drop it, Usos should drop it. That's how I
Agreed.
feel. Because then you're going to make a weird bloodline dynamic on SmackDown next week if they're still champs and Roman lost. Like now that's not a bad way to go about it because you could just have Roman decimate them and go on his own. Drop Heyman, drop them, shit-eating heel on him by himself. I just don't see it that way.
Right.
So, I mean,
I
it all
don't
hinges for me on what's going to happen with the main event.
I don't understand why they have to rush things. Like I don't understand.
Instant gratification. We
I don't
live in the instant
the
gratification era.
Heyman part makes sense. I'm okay with that. And the outcome of the Heyman thing, we don't know. It could be a ploy the whole time.
Heyman still hasn't left him. Technically, he's
Right.
kind of playing both sides right now.
It could be a ploy the whole time, and he walks out with Lesnar, and turns out and helps him. Right?
I would love nothing more than to see at the end of the night tonight, Heyman finds himself in a precarious position where he's like,
He's got to pick one of the other.
I'm saying he's either about to help Lesnar cheat or Lesnar's about to cheat. And he comes in and you could see he's like rock hard place. Heyman can tell that story with his face without words. And at the end, he winds up pulling like the belt or the chair out of Brock's hand and walking away and not seeing the finish. But he stops it from being an unfair finish.
Gotcha.
And then Roman probably goes, and now he still plays this will there, won't they game,
No.
leading into their probable rematch.
I just don't feel like
I think it's a good opportunity to put the nail in the coffin on the long-term storytelling and extend this another 3 months into Mania.
You could.
That's kind of my point.
I understand what you're saying 100%. I just feel like even if Heyman were to be a Brock guy from this point on, there's no reason to end the bloodline. You have a good thing going. It's the hottest act in WWE, in my opinion. I would say 99% of everybody would agree that that's the hottest act in WWE, right?
Oh, 100%.
So why break it up? Why? It's good. It's good TV. Don't even mess with it.
So
Usos go over.
Yeah, feelings, no facts. Usos go over.
I think Usos go over no matter what. But coming out of this, I think potentially if Big E retains in the title match, you could have Kofi or Xavier go into the Rumble and win
Crossover.
and do a New Day world title match at WrestleMania. I think Vince likes it. I think the guys like it because I think they want to all work together. They love each other. They want to be able, as friends, why would you not want to be in the main event of WrestleMania against your friend?
Oh, no, 100% agree. Yeah.
And again, with the New Day, you can continue on with the Usos and just have it be forever. Because that's the Usos and the New Day. That's the biggest rivalry in the tag team division over the last 5
When
years.
you think of like factions, right? Like we were talking about before, they're as babyface as it gets. It's a faction, right? And I can't remember that many baby faces. Like, they could stay together forever.
Yeah.
They literally could stay together for the next 10 years, on and off. They don't have to be making saves every time.
Well, I'm not saying, like, here's the thing. You don't have to book it where the New Day are going against each other like with animosity.
No, 100%. And I think that would be so fresh and so clean. Like, we haven't seen that.
We don't get the babyface versus babyface, like, battle of respect anymore.
Well, that's what this could be. This could be, Kofi's had his shot. He was the champion. Now Big E is champion. Why not let Xavier get into that not necessarily
you trust him enough to put the crown on him, even though King of the Ring kind of doesn't mean much anymore.
Right. But what I'm saying is they've had a good year. They've been champs, not champs, been all three of them.
Oh my God.
So why not
the merch they sell, everything
what else are you doing with Big E coming out of this? You take the title off him tonight, which again, we'll get to that when we get to that matchup, but you take the title off him. What are you doing with him now at this point? Is he going to go back to the New Day? Is he going to stay in the title picture? I mean, that's a lot of this pay-per-view and Royal Rumble will shake up what's going to happen at Mania. But I don't think that's a bad way to go. So I don't think the New Day needs the straps. I think the Usos look much better with the straps behind Roman holding the title.
I agree.
So that leads us into our next match, which is Brock and Roman. And this is probably the biggest storyline going in WWE right now and has been for months. My opinion is you have Brock. Brock kind of needs to go over because otherwise, what are you doing with him? He's under contract, right?
I don't think. All right. Well,
I think
he's under contract.
So if he's under contract, you're gonna have him on WrestleMania.
You know what? Hold that thought. Let me get your thoughts. I'm gonna look. I want to see if I can find Lesnar's contract situation.
So what I'm saying is you have him under contract. He's got to be in a big match at WrestleMania.
Right.
And right now, the biggest match he's going to be in is the one that he's in tonight with Roman. If Roman wins, basically puts Rock out to pasture. What's Brock's next move? Like, what do they do with him next? So,
well, he's going to be in a main event at WrestleMania, right? And are we pretty confident it's going to be him and Reigns? Are we confident about that yet?
At this point,
there was a time where a year in advance we could both tell you what the main event of Mania was going to be. Right now, I just don't have that much of a handle on it.
Like we said, are they going to finally bring The Rock around for his last time?
I hope not.
I mean,
I hope not.
I don't think anybody really wants to see that. I think based on the storyline that they're doing with like this overconfident champ and this, he's the bloodline, he's the family, he's the head of the table. Well, no, The Rock is the head of the table. So why wouldn't they bring like that?
100% that's where it's headed. Lesnar's contract is 8 to 12 fights over the next 18 months, which was signed roughly where it would end right after WrestleMania in 2023.
So next year. Next year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, next year's Mania. So he's there for at least 14 more months, 16 more months figure right around that area.
It's going to be the regular Brock schedule.
But it's only going to be 8 to 12 matches, but he's already had a few. So take what you want. The Bloodline storyline ends with The Rock coming back. And if you're smart, Reigns goes over. It's
like the real battle for the head of the table.
Yeah, if you do something stupid and you put The Rock over, God bless you, because I don't know what you do then. If you bury the top star.
I think it's no secret that for Vince to get The Rock, he needs to get The Rock with plenty of time, right?
He set it all up. He's got it all set up. I was reading this conspiracy theory that they set up all the dates in this year's WrestleMania and the lead up right after from the Royal Rumble on. WWE is scheduled exactly where The Rock is shooting every single episode. And what I've heard was...
what, Young Rocky shooting? Or
whatever he's on. They said they're right outside the studio lots. If you watch where everything is set up, it's set up for him to be able to get there if he needs to. And what I heard is it's 2 Raw appearances, it's the Royal Rumble, and it's Mania. So you're going to get him 4 times.
So if it's 2 Raw appearances, the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, that takes him out of SmackDown, which takes him away from Roman Reigns.
Well, I'm sorry. I meant two non-pay-per-view appearances. Sorry.
So Vince's theory, because he's trying to fill Dallas Stadium, the Cowboy Stadium.
That'll do it.
And what record did Vince have forever that he no longer has? Which is the World Indoor Attendance record. And where stadium are you able to set the World?
Dallas.
Cherry World.
And what match could Vince put on to fill that stadium, get the record, and do that? And the only person he could do, he thinks, I'm not saying that you put Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns in that stadium, that's going to fill that stadium. That's going to sell pay-per-views because you're going to have the WWE audience who wants to see their guy win. You got the AEW.
Oh yeah, if you did a crossover, you blow it away.
Vince will never open the forbidden door. So the only way for him to be able to, in his mind, to do that is to get The Rock to fill that stage.
All right, well you say that, right? But is there another way to do it?
With what he has?
Yeah.
Without working with AEW?
No.
No.
I mean, yes, without working with AEW, yes.
Where does Lesnar go then?
That's my
He's
question.
not going to go over to Raw because Fox wants his ass right where he is on
Well,
SmackDown.
that's my question.
So my thought on it is...
You think we see someone return tonight?
So that's why Brock goes over.
No, I think The Rock... Well, first of all, I will tell you this. Bill Goldberg was on the Pat McAfee show this week, and they asked him about it, and he told them, he's like, I have one more, and I'm done.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
Goldberg has one more match, and he's done.
Oh,
So,
God,
and obviously
please
they're
no.
going to do it at WrestleMania.
yeah. So
Please
maybe,
no.
Maybe Brock retires Bill Goldberg if he's not going to be involved in the title picture. What I would do is...
Well, who's been Bill Goldberg's? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but who's been Bill Goldberg's biggest rival?
Foil. Yeah, it's Lesnar.
Yeah.
They're foiled. They've been foiled.
I understand that, but they're not at this point in their careers.
Brock can still go. Bill can't give me 10 good minutes.
No.
Brock could give me 15.
Let me just hit you with my prediction. Ready? Let me just hit you with my prediction.
Go ahead, and then
I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see. I don't want to say a different moveset, but a better moveset than what we've seen in the past from Brock Lesnar. I think he's gonna be different in the ring than we've seen him in the last few years. There's something about the lumberjack hair. I think there's something about him that feels rejuvenated. It's not like one more fight and I'm out of here. I know I'm here for at least another year. Maybe because of that, they can slow play this too. They don't have to. You don't have to just, I think we're going to see the best Brock Lesnar tonight that we've seen in years. That's what I think. Whether someone returns, what happens if The Rock's there tonight? What happens if The Rock comes out during their match, costs Lesnar the title? And everyone thinks, oh, he joined the bloodline, and then we find out later down the road that no, he was coming out to start this feud. I mean, anything can happen.
Well, so we've done Brock. We've done we've done Rock Roman.
Haven't done Brock though since SummerSlam.
Right. SummerSlam 02.
Since 02.
We've done Rock Roman.
Rock Roman, we've done it. Haven't we done Rock Roman before? No.
No.
Because I was what about Rock Roman? Triple threat.
You could, but I don't think you need it. I don't think you need it. I don't.
Right. So
because then there's bloodline, and you went over because it hurts. It hurts Reigns. It does, because if Reigns goes over in that match, well, he went over because Lesnar destroyed The Rock. I feel like that hurts. If the only way you do this, if you're gonna in my opinion, if you're gonna cross into this territory, and it's gonna be Rock Reigns has to go over clean, like no help from Heyman. Clean, and it's got to be the end of The Rock. It's got to be the end.
Well, they could do it like the once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime. Where it's a clean match. There was no shenanigans. Clean, both matches featured a clean pin in the middle of the ring.
Right. You need that. 100%.
And that's what I think. That's the style of match Rock wants to work at this point.
Yeah.
Because he's pushing. He's over 50, right? Or is he old?
51, I think.
I think he's 51. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And not to say that he can't get after him. The guy's in phenomenal shape. It's I think this pay-per-view is going to determine a lot of what happens moving forward.
Yeah, and specifically, this is the driving action of
Yeah.
the entire company right now. What's going on with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 guys? Because the whole bloodline, Heyman, Brock, and Rock. What's going on with them is really what's driving.
49. So he's turning 50 this year. So still, I mean, guys,
look, Jericho's
he's
51
different.
and he's
Right.
as good as he's
Yeah.
ever been in the ring.
They're different. It's different.
I think what WWE did by getting rid of the December pay-per-view and creating this new pay-per-view is you just elongated the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Well,
100%.
You know why?
I think it starts
right?
tonight, the road to WrestleMania,
Right.
for lack of a better.
You know why they did it tonight too, right?
No.
There was a big one of the New Year's shows from Atlanta last night. So everyone's in town and there's nothing going on today.
Mhm.
And they were already going to be in Atlanta. I think they did SmackDown was already going to be there. Or
Okay.
what? Everything worked out. And Vince was all these tourists are going to be in Atlanta.
Right. So
There's
where's
not
The
much
Rock
going on.
tonight?
The Braves are out. The Braves aren't playing baseball. The Hawks are out of town.
Right.
There's nothing going on in the city, and there's going to be all this extra foot traffic. Bang! Saturday night pay-per-view day
Smart.
1.
I mean, Vince is a genius. Let's call it what it is.
So I mean, I'm good on that. I mean, I think
Who-
now I'm kind of excited to watch the show.
Hold
tonight.
on.
I might have to throw it on.
Yeah, you might. Why not?
You got to come over then. Who's going over?
I'm gonna say Roman goes over, but there's fuckery. There's
Yeah.
either Heyman fuckery. We might see Dwayne tonight.
Roman goes over. Fuckery. What do you got?
I'm gonna pick Brock.
Ooh.
Just sitting here and hashing it out with you guys, a couple of like-minded young men. I think, piecing the Bill Goldberg part of this together. He's got one more match left.
Sucks.
He's probably going to be at this Mania. I think it makes sense for Brock to send him out. I think he wants Brock to send him out. I think he trusts Brock because Bill's almost been maimed on this recent comeback.
Oh, yeah.
He's almost been maimed a few times.
More than once.
You want to be in there with somebody. He's got kids. He's got a life to live.
And plus, it works out best for both of them because they can have that 30-second, F5, spear, jackhammer, F5.
I hate that. I hate that.
I don't want Rollins retiring. I mean, he might break his fucking neck, and I love Rollins,
right.
But he's known for he should have retired Sting, but that guy's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah.
I mean, next match is the ladder match. Do we have IC and US title matches on this card?
No.
So
and there's no ladder unless Becky and Liv is a ladder match. Is that a ladder match?
WWE title is it? WWE title is a fatal 4-way ladder match.
Oh, okay. No, that must be the main event then.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up, we got Becky and Liv.
Home run opportunity to capitalize on what Liv Morgan has been doing for the last 6 months and put her over Becky clean. Clean.
Yes, I think
they won't, but they should.
I think it sets up a lot of things. Having Liv go over because now you get Charlotte back involved, you get Becky back involved. Where's Sasha? Is Sasha?
Do you care though? I don't care where Sasha is.
Sasha's
oddly enough. I mean, I know she's over like Rover.
She's the second best wrestler in that women's wrestler in that company.
I know, but we talked about this when they did the table.
Charlotte, Sasha, Becky.
She's 107 pounds.
No, I understand, but she's still the second best wrestler in the company.
Okay, so if we go with what Whitey is saying, right, and we just take everything on this road to WrestleMania, and we're gonna sell out Dallas, we're gonna sell it out, we're gonna sell out Jerry World, right?
That's the goal,
right? So if that's the goal,
130,000.
Oh, it gotta be. It's gotta be
125,000.
Well, they're number 2 right now. I think the Stones beat them. The Rolling Stones beat them, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I mean, we could.
But it's
Google
crazy
it.
you even consider Jerry World an indoor stadium because that's not a dome top, is it?
Well, it is.
You can close it. Yeah.
It's retractable.
Oh, they do.
It's retractable. Yeah. So
it's still a football field.
Let's just say, we're booking this right now. We say we're going to sell it out. How do we sell it out? So non-title match, Charlotte Becky,
not
Trish Becky.
No, I don't need to see Trish wrestle.
I don't need to see Trish wrestle.
I think the match, believe it or not, and they've done it already at WrestleMania, is the triple threat between the top 3 girls in the company. And if
Bailey's hurt,
and if Bailey was not hurt, it's the fatal 4-way between the 4 of them.
What about Ronda?
What about Bianca?
I
What
love
happened to
Bianca.
her?
I love Bianca.
Well, Bianca's on Raw
They put the rocket ship to her back just a short year ago.
because isn't Liv and Becky are on SmackDown?
No, Liv and Becky are on Raw.
Oh,
Charlotte's on SmackDown.
Oh, Charlotte's on SmackDown.
Remember, because
Where's
Charlotte,
Bianca? Bianca's on SmackDown.
Bianca might be on SmackDown too.
No, I think Bianca's on Raw.
Fox wanted Becky and Charlotte at the most recent draft, and they were like, "Fuck you! You can't. We have no women's division on Raw if you take them both."
I have to take a step back. Bianca is phenomenal.
Yeah, but just a year ago it was the sky's the limit for her, and now I feel like I don't see her name or hear about her.
The last Raw I watched, she was wrestling Doudrop.
Yeah, Doudrop. Is that the new fat girl, so to speak?
Oh God.
No, you know what I mean. What I mean. You know what I mean. Is she the only one that they constantly talk about her weight? She's the only one they bill weight. Do they bill her weight?
Yeah,
because Nia was the only girl whose weight they
she's
bill.
The plus size. But
they're always talking about how big she is. She's over 200 pounds and this and that.
The thing that I've noticed with WWE recently is that, like everyone else, they're just trying to be as PC as possible. Right. So they need the heavier girl to be the body your body image doesn't matter. Which is fine. That's what it should be. Nobody should be concerned with.
Can you wrestle? It should always be can you wrestle.
Well, that's the whole thing. And WWE is now trying to check all these boxes as opposed to trying to put on a good wrestling show. They're more concerned with checking boxes.
Can you wrestle? Do you put asses in seats? Do you draw reactions? And drawing reactions and asses in seats is kind of the same thing. Those are the only 3 things that should matter.
From what I've seen from Doudrop, she's a more impressive Nia Jax in that she can actually wrestle without killing somebody.
A good wrestler.
Yeah.
So since this doesn't matter because it's going to be aired after the show, apparently Shinsuke has tested positive for COVID-19. And that match might not happen.
Okay.
The Shinsuke Sami Zayn.
I thought they already cut it.
Oh, they did?
I thought so.
Okay, they're saying that it might happen, it might not. He tested positive now.
They're not testing anyone anymore. Do you see that? WWE's no longer requiring positive tests to come to work.
As of as of tonight.
Sloppy ship.
As of this morning, he is officially off the COVID list So they don't know what they're going to do with the match. So
Gotcha.
I guess maybe it would be back on. I don't know. And they said so far, Gable Stevenson is in the arena tonight that they've already seen.
Gable Stevenson.
Yeah. So
He's the
Olympic gold medalist.
Oh, okay.
yeah. So he's there.
They signed
backstage.
him. They signed him to Raw immediately.
Guaranteed.
No time in NXT.
Guaranteed
He's
he's
way too
a-
green.
But guarantee he's a Royal Rumble entry. So we might see him tonight.
Like, I know we've been begging for this forever. I'll be quick with it. Shooters, put a fucking singlet on Brock. Put a singlet on Gable. Go find whatever Chad Gable's fucking doing and sign him back. Give me 5 shooters and just let them run.
I like what they
Put
do.
Shelty with him.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I like what they do with Chad Gable. He's
Is Chad Gable still there? I thought he left.
No, he's the mentor for Otis.
Oh.
He's turned Otis into a monster, and
I saw he's got a new look now.
Yeah, he shaved
his
everything,
head and
yeah.
It was
everything.
impressive, very impressive.
He's I always liked his
He's a
in-ring work.
fucking bulldozer.
Yeah.
That guy.
Are we done with the Becky and Liv? Not quite. Right?
Well, we didn't really pick a winner.
No, I think it should be Liv. In my heart, it's got to be Liv. I don't trust Vince to do the right thing.
I'm gonna say
Becky sells 1 million t-shirts.
they're gonna put Liv over
They should.
because Becky doesn't need the title.
I'm gonna go Becky. I don't think he does the right thing.
Again, it's a tough call. I think, like you said, what Liv has been doing. I think if they don't give her the title, they have no trust in anybody but the 4 horsewomen.
And if they don't give her the title, you're showing the whole locker room that it doesn't matter how much progress you make in the ring, on the mic, with your character, with your reactions, on your social media. She's done everything has been trending upward for the last 6 months for her.
Liv was like the Harley Quinn girl for a while. Like
And I didn't like that.
That's when they put the Riot Squad together. They wanted a Harley Quinn, they wanted a Montoya, and they wanted a Black Cat.
Yeah.
They wanted to try to do the Birds of Prey. That's what they were trying to do with the Riot Squad.
Yeah.
All right, so the final match of the evening is the 4-way ladder match. Big E, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley.
Before we get into this, let's do Shinsuke if it happens tonight.
Okay, so Shinsuke.
I think Shinsuke goes over because I think Sami Zayn right now is putting on a pretty good lesson on how to be the comic relief guy that's still kind of taken seriously.
Yep.
And he's a threat.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't need the belt.
No, he doesn't. That's my other point. Sami doesn't need it.
The problem is that Vince has these mid card, what he considers mid card guys. Shinsuke is a main event performer any company he goes to outside of WWE,
which is it's amazing.
It's like the way that people are treated in the WWE, and again, it's they choose to sign that contract. Vince is going to tell you, I don't provide you with guarantees. I provide you with opportunity, and if he doesn't like it, you're playing to a one-man audience, and that's what it is. And obviously he doesn't like Shinsuke because Shinsuke doesn't speak English real well.
Gotten better, though.
Oh, he has.
He's gotten better.
But not good enough to the point where Vince trusts him, So I think you're right. I think Shinsuke keeps it. I don't think Sami needs the belt. I don't think either guy really needs the belt.
If you don't like that he doesn't speak good English, get a fucking Japanese or Chinese or Korean American manager to talk for him.
Ultimo Dragon, who couldn't speak a lick of English, had Sonny Ono, who spoke fluent Japanese and English.
Done.
So
I will say about this in terms of them missing the mark with mid-carders and Vince doing that. I'd say right now, I got no problem going on the record right now. I said this the other night watching Dynamite with Emily. In no less than 3 years' time, Adam Cole will be the thing in pro wrestling. And they tried to change his name and turn him into a manager. Who's hotter than that guy right now?
What do you mean in 3 years' time?
Like on top. Like right now, he's one of the guys.
3 is a long. I think a year.
In no less than 3 years' time, he is the best thing going in, not just in AEW, in the business.
I think what happens with we're going to get.
They wanted to change his name and make him a manager.
I know. For
a guy that they've since fired, Keith Lee.
Let's not get into it right now, just because we're going to get to our AEW.
So main event is the Fatal 4-Way ladder match, WWE title, champion Big E defends against
KO.
Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins. I think one of these guys just signed a very big contract, and I think in that contract was the title win tonight. That's simple. I think it's going to – Kevin Owens is definitely going to build a Frankenstein of ladders and tables that he's going to wind up going through because he's famous for that, and we'll love it. But I think Kevin Owens closes the show with the belt in his hands.
You think Kevin Owens wins?
Yeah, I think it's in his. I think it's in his contract he just signed that he's going to take the belt with him through to at least Mania, and I think it's that. I think he wanted it. I think it was in. I don't even know if he wanted it, but I think they put it in the contract, and I think it's going to be Vince's big fuck you to AEW tonight.
That sucks for Big E. Because
But Big E's on the record saying he doesn't care about the title.
I know, but I think people backstage and when he won, everyone was so happy for him, and they were. Listen, Kevin Owens goes over tonight, right?
And that new deal, Owens is getting Brock money, right? Like it's like $3 to $5 a year for 3 years.
Brock's getting $12 million.
Vince did
3 to 5, yeah, $12 million for. All right, so $3 to $5 million a year for 3 years is $15 million. That's Brock. That's
Vince did what he needed to do to keep him from going to AEW.
100%.
He did not need him going.
When you hear what Kevin Owens said, "Ooh, it was best for my family." Yeah, all right, we know you got the bag, dude. That's
everybody
fine. No one
wants to do
cares.
something until you see.
Yeah.
You never seen that many.
I
zeros
told
on
you
check
that.
before.
I told you that. Not everyone's going to be able to jump over there, even if their heart is. Oh my God, I got to go to AEW.
That
Gotta
was
go.
what Meltzer said was AEW financially couldn't match it if they tried.
No, Vince made a point to do that.
That's fine.
And
So
I think he drives the nail in the coffin tonight.
So say he drives the nail in the coffin tonight. He goes over. Then it's Owens Edge at Mania.
Huh. Could be Owens Edge. I mean,
See, but then what are you doing with Lashley? Lashley's got to be in that title picture.
It's very easy. So you could look. So you do it this way. It's very easy for Big E to retain, right? Makes sense. Fine. It's very easy to see Owens winning. We just pointed that out. It's very easy to see Lashley winning, in my opinion, because chasing a heel into Mania is like easy. Like that's like you can, you know what I mean? That's easy. It's an easy story to write. Rollins, I don't want to see him win it. I don't know where I want to see him, but I don't want to see him win it.
it just Lashley being in, having to go and beat all three of them in the same night to get himself into the match and then going on to win it just seems very predictable, very Vince-like, very something they would have done in 2009. And he is hot. He's very hot.
Yeah, but he's not the guy to put over in 2022 now. He's not the guy to put over.
What do you do with him, though? Like, coming out of this, what do you do with him?
See, these are all questions that I feel like we're like you can't. You're asking us to answer these questions,
Bobby
right?
Lashley was at his best as a United States champion. We just spent
No,
a couple of minutes. He was his best in his first run as the United States champion and as the ECW heavyweight champion, which let's be honest was just as important as the U.S. belt at the time.
I like though him and MVP together as
I
a team.
think it's great. I thought it was great.
I really enjoyed him as champ. I think he was a very good champ. I think
agree.
He looks like a champion. Not just he comes to the ring in a suit. He looks good in a suit. He looks good in a
that's something he picked up in his TNA days.
Yeah.
He was hitting his stride. I think he was, but I just
and he's the only guy. The only guy to hold a major pro wrestling championship and he was the Bellator World Heavyweight Champion simultaneously.
Yeah. But I feel like all these questions, like consistently, WWE puts me in a situation where I want a fantasy book, but I can't because it's like, well, what do you do with so-and-so? Well, you pigeonholed me into this situation. So if you're asking me now, right, WWE put us in this situation where, what do? Lashley's got to be on a Mania card, right?
Well, before we get into that, the issue with the booking is it's not like Tony Khan is booking AEW.
And nobody questions him on it.
Yes, he might get help from Kenny or he might get help from Dustin or he might get help from Cody or the Bucks or whoever. But Tony Khan books AEW. He
100%.
sits down and goes, this is what I got. What do you guys think? There's not one person booking WWE. It's a room of writers that were not wrestling guys.
30 writers at this point.
Right, that are not wrestling guys. They're television, movie.
Dude, I was looking on Indeed. I could apply for a WWE writer's
PA
job with no experience.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they're just hiring.
I'm going to move to Stanford.
They're hiring people who are willing to go into that WWE grind work schedule, who are just going to throw idea after idea after idea. And it doesn't make any sense for long-term booking. So as much as we would like to, as fans, to see this long-term booking, you're never going to see it in WWE as long as they keep the structure that they have now.
Right.
So you saying as a fan, I always want to fantasy book WWE because you can see the talent that they have and what they could potentially do with this talent, but they never do it. They always go with the safe bet. So in this instance, I think Whitebread's right in the fact that, yes, you're going to give the belt to Owens because it's in his contract, because that's what prevented Owens from going to AEW.
Yeah, I agree. I say Owens goes over tonight.
Where any of the other choices could make sense except for Rollins. Rollins is in there because they had nothing to do with Rollins, and they needed something for him.
Talent.
And to answer the question on what do you do with Bobby and what do you do with Brock and what do you do with all these guys who aren't going to come out on the other side tonight, move the Money in the Bank ladder match back to WrestleMania.
Yep.
Now you have 8 guys in a match where all you need to do is have them win one qualifying match. You don't need to have it. It doesn't require. It requires a month of storytelling.
Right.
You could start the qualifiers after Royal Rumble.
Yep.
So it's all the guys left over. So now, say there's 16 guys left over who didn't win the Rumble. Nothing went their way. Now you have 8 qualifying matches. The 8 guys who win are going into the fucking Money in the Bank ladder match. Match means a lot more. And then you lose the bullshit gimmick pay-per-view in whatever month they do, July, when they do the Money in the Bank.
They should just cut the amount of pay-per-views they do anyway.
They should.
12 pay-per-views, it's like it's killed the long-term booking. You know, you look at Tony Khan and what he's done with his 4 pay-per-views and like his big TV dynamites or whatever. Like it makes so much more sense for this long-term booking. WWE is a month-to-month. How many people can we get to subscribe this month? How many people can we get to subscribe?
They like live react to the ratings too. Like they could see, oh well, say KO does go over tonight, and then Monday night the ratings are a dip, like a dip as low as we've seen this quarter. Well, I mean in the fourth quarter, because the quarter just started. They could fucking make the Vince could be sitting and go and be like, I'm changing the finish tonight. Like we're getting the belt off of Kevin right now.
Right.
And that's
Which is
the problem.
Wild. That's like, but I mean, you know,
well, that's how he's always done it. I mean, you got to remember when he first started, he had 4 guys, him and 3 other guys. And that was it. It was Vince, Pat Patterson, you know,
Pritchard, right?
Well, Pritchard came later, but originally it was like Pat Patterson, Vince, and then like 2 other guys. But now it's 30 guys telling him what to do.
It's too much of a production. It is.
So we're both on Owens. You're on Owens. You think
Owens? I am on Owens just for the contract. That's the reason why I'm on him. So
anything else on the general goings on? I mean, real quick, give me, if you had to book it right now based on everything you just said on tonight's card, who walks out? Who outlasts 30 other competitors
at the Rumble?
Men.
Based on tonight's card?
Well, based on everything that's going on and how we think now we've discussed tonight's card's going to go.
See, the issue is it's harder to pick now because you have 2 shows where a guy from either show can win. You know, in the girls' Royal Rumble, it's like all the girls from both shows go into one Royal Rumble, and it's like there's still 2. It's like it's so hard with the 4 major titles.
Well, I think the girls' Rumble means less.
No, I mean yes and no.
In terms of like the winner.
So you're asking me from the men's perspective?
Yeah. Give me the man's winner. And I can answer first if you want, because I have.
Go ahead. I want you to answer first because I want to. You have an idea. I don't really.
Lesnar.
No, I don't think it's going to be Lesnar.
I'm going Lesnar.
I think there'll be some Gaga that winds up setting at the Royal Rumble. Some sort of Gaga is going to go on that ultimately sets up probably Goldberg versus Brock. I think probably Rollins makes a lot of sense.
Oh, come on.
And Bobby Lashley make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I can see Lashley.
Or Drew. I want to book anybody but those 3.
Lashley Lesnar doesn't do it for you at WrestleMania?
I think Lashley Lesnar is a phenomenal choice for a match.
Lashley Lesnar would be phenomenal, but how are we going to get there?
Well, we'll get
there.
One
of them needs to get the belt tonight, probably.
So KO becomes the Raw champion then at that point, right?
Yes, WWE champion.
So, and McIntyre's on SmackDown.
Yes,
I got McIntyre winning the Rumble. Because, like you said, because the reason is if Brock goes over, you shift Roman into another program with somebody else, or you keep it like a triple threat. Say if Rock's not coming. I mean, we're all predicting that Rock is going to be involved at WrestleMania against Roman. So I think depending on who wins the Brock-Roman match tonight, if Roman goes over, Rock is going to wrestle Roman at WrestleMania. If Brock goes over, that gives you your opportunity, like Anthony said, to give Drew that real moment, not the COVID moment, but a real moment to cement him as one of the top guys in the company. That's why I see Drew going over.
That's fair. And they could do it that way. I just feel like it's rushed. Like right now, he's doing this bullshit program.
Well, again,
with Cat Moss. They have time, but like,
again,
give him that moment at WrestleMania 2023.
No, fine.
Slow build it. Plan it now.
But they won't. But that's the issue. And then the other issue becomes he was supposed to be in a program with Jeff Hardy, who was also supposed to be in a program with Roman. Now Jeff Hardy gets eliminated. That screws up all the plans.
Yeah.
So it's that's the issue, because like wrestling, you can make all these long-term plans. Somebody gets hurt, there's a family issue.
Someone gets cut.
But I'm willing to live with family issues. Someone gets hurt, stuff like that. Someone retires. You never, God forbid something worse. I'm willing to live with those. What I'm not willing to live with is we refused to look further than 6 weeks into the future, and we wrote ourselves into a fucking corner. And now every way that we try to write ourselves out is going to look stupid no matter what.
Yeah, but that's
where I'm not okay with it. I'm willing if the whole thing gets blown up because Drew McIntyre blows out his shoulder, halfway through the at SummerSlam next year, I'm okay with that. I'm willing to live with that. I cannot live with like now we have this fatal 4-way ladder match and we wrote ourselves into this weird corner where if Lashley doesn't go over, where's he going to be? He's in a weird spot.
No, I understand what you're saying, but that's the structure. That's the WWE structure. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they don't look into the future. They're like in they very much live in the present.
And it's yes men.
Yeah.
It's ultimately Vince. No one knows better than Vince because I mean, is he right? Up until 15 years ago, he wasn't wrong that no one knew better than him. But over the last 15 years or so, he's kind of losing it.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, things have changed so much. That's the problem.
But it's like it's too many cooks in the kitchen for the fact that there's only really one cook in the kitchen because we hear these stories all the time about how the writers will sit in the room for 4 hours and they bang out the whole Monday Night Raw. Bring it to Vince. Nah, I don't like it. Rip the whole thing up. Then they go they are rewriting Monday Night Raw at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time.
So hear me out.
That's a problem.
Hear me out from a business perspective, okay? When Vince first started, it reminds me of when Vince first had, let's just say, control. It reminds me of a little bit of Tony Khan, where his goal is to put on the best wrestling show on the planet. Like, that's his goal.
Well, no, I mean, his goal was to take wrestling out of the regional promotions.
I'm saying after that fact. I meant, okay, I guess I chose the wrong era.
And at that point, he was producing more of a television show than he was a wrestling show because he wanted that national exposure. And the way to get that national exposure is to get eyeballs so that you can sell ad revenue.
Like, I feel like he's not as focused on, I feel like Tony Khan right now, in his mind, I could be totally wrong, is like, I want to make, because he's not worried about money. He's not worried about a bottom dollar, especially right now. I want to, and it's like other businesses, you can compare it. Elon Musk, he didn't care the first 10 years about making money. He didn't make any money with Tesla. He wanted to make the best electric car. Okay, so let's just do that. Tony Khan wants to make the best product and to put the best product out there, and he's doing it, right? And let's just say at some point, Vince was like that too. I want to put the best product out there. I want the best storylines, and I want the best show.
That was never Vince, though. Vince was always about the dollar.
See, that's what I'm saying. Now, I feel like maybe if that's how you feel, right, then I feel like he's so concerned with the dollar now, he's willing to let the product hurt over the dollar.
I mean, it's facts though. But Vince's whole thing has always been the reason he has all the IPs, the reason that he has all this is for merchandising, is to make money. Everything has 100%. Always been based on.
And so, like, Chris Johansson isn't gonna come work for me, and we're gonna make you Big Whitey. You're not going to make your name off of Big Whitey and then go make your own money on Big Whitey. Big Whitey's us.
Right.
You were just Chris Johansson.
Right.
So you're not going to make money and without us getting paid on it because you would have never been there without us.
So what do they do with the guy that they bring in like AJ Styles?
AJ Styles owns it already, so they couldn't own it.
Right. So I'm saying, like,
I'm sure there's probably because when Samoa Joe came in, him and Hunter had a long talk, and where Hunter basically told him, "You're never coming up from NXT. This is how we see you. You're gonna be like our gatekeeper." And Samoa Joe was like, "All right, at that point in his career, it all sounds good." And they kind of left it open. Like, we're not definitely saying you're not gonna make the main roster, but our plan isn't. We have nothing for you on the main roster.
Right.
And then Samoa Joe was, all right, cool. Like, what are you gonna call me? And Hunter said, "You own Samoa Joe, right?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Done. We're calling you Samoa Joe." I don't think Hunter cares as much because Hunter understands the gravitas that comes with the name Samoa Joe.
Right.
Vince wants you to hear a name and like Braun Breaker. No sense that he's not just whatever Steiner. It makes no sense. Right. Other than Vince doesn't want you to think of the Steiners because then you think of all the shit that they did without him.
I don't care about that.
And then you think of, the Steiners and Vince fucking hate each other.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Like you're hurting the product for your own
Everyone knows he's a Steiner. Somebody made a joke.
Yeah,
about
the money's been made.
Man.
But the money's been made.
Yeah, but the thing is, Vince. The reason that with the the points that you bring up, Viper brings up, is that when he had Hulk had to pay Marvel Comics to use Hulk Hogan because the Incredible Hulk. So they couldn't call him the Incredible Hulk Hogan. They can call him the Immortal Hulk Hogan. They can call him, whatever else, Hulk Hogan. But because he had to pay, and Hulk bought, Vince didn't buy those rights. Hulk bought those rights. So Vince said, moving forward, I'm going to own everybody's IP. You're not Kurt Hennig. You're Mr. Perfect. You're not Ted DiBiase. You're the $1 Million Man. You're not Terry Taylor. You're the Red Rooster.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You're not whatever that guy's name is. You're Typhoon.
Right.
or what else did that?
Fred Ottman.
Right.
So I mean, that was the thing.
I just feel like from if you're looking at it from an overall business perspective, you put a good product out there, no matter what you sell, people buy it. Right? The better the product, the more the people buy.
See, but he has the ad revenue. He has the billions of dollars from Fox. He has the $1 billion from NBC. He has the merchandise deal with Mattel.
So what's the end game?
Here is how Vince
money.
I'm saying like so this never ends, right? This end never ends. Like we just live in WWE purgatory forever. You think?
Mm-hmm.
No, Vince passes and moves on, and someone else probably takes over. If
Nope.
they don't sell,
Yeah, someone takes over Disney.
If Hunter gets in that chair, I think it gets better. But
no, I don't
think
so.
Hunter ever gets in this.
I don't think so because I think he ruined NXT. I think NXT had a good thing going.
He didn't ruin NXT. Vince came in and took
in.
control, and that's when it turned
Vince,
to
yeah.
NXT 2.0. It's all Vince.
It's horrific. I totally 100% see if it trends this way, a sale to Disney, where they could open up a part of MGM Studios.
Well, Vince's concern was setting his family up. That's what he wants.
His family's set up. It's set up.
No, but I'm saying like he wants to make sure that when he goes, that
WWE
Stephanie,
goes with him.
That Stephanie, Shane,
yeah,
them and their kids are set up.
He locked that up 20 years.
Yeah,
ago.
but the sale to Disney would do that, but it would also end it with them. You know, and then everybody, because think about it. Think about what Disney could do. They could take John Cena and make him a superhero and give him a TV show and.
Well, it's all the thing.
Yeah, there's gonna be the New Day cartoon on Disney.
Don't you can't think about it like that. What everybody looks for right now is content, because what media has become is content providers. You know what I mean? So there's like your free content provider, and then there's like Disney. Disney has Marvel, which is content that they provide. They own Pixar, which is content that they provide. Disney itself, which does the animated movies and also big studio movies, Cruella and whatever
ABC, ESPN.
Right. They own, and which all these things bring them content. So if they were to buy the WWE has one of the largest content libraries in the world. Like if you consider they own all of WWE's content, all of the ECW's content, all of WCW's content, all of the AWA, on onward.
All of Jim Crockett, all of Deep South.
They own all that stuff. So nobody's going to be able to ever compete. Like Tony Khan can start a streaming service, and he's going to have 100,000 people that subscribe to it. Vince McMahon has the WWE Network, which is now a part of Peacock, that has millions of subscribers.
100%.
So why wouldn't Disney want to get that content from Peacock? So once because the sale to Disney wouldn't happen until the contract with Peacock ends, because that's billions of dollars. So ABC, Disney, whoever you want to look at, they're looking at it like we're going to be able to crush everybody with the WWE, because now you get it away from Fox, you get it away from NBC Universal. That's what the end game is content at this point, because that's where media is right now. It's content.
100% content. It's the name of the game.
So Vince
it's the business we're in right over here.
So Vince, who years ago saw this, it's content, because he always thought, I'm going to have on television a WWE network, not a streaming service the way that the media went to. But that's what his end goal was, because that provides money. Because you look at what's the biggest money making event of the year every single year?
WrestleMania?
The Super Bowl.
I thought you meant
okay, sorry, I should have said just in all events. 100%. It's the Super Bowl, because it brings in the most amount of money. So Vince, with WrestleMania, thought he could create another Super Bowl.
He kind of did.
He kind of did.
They don't do Super Bowl of pro wrestling,
but they don't.
Even when
they don't do the numbers that the Super Bowl does. Nobody does the numbers that the Super Bowl does.
Yeah. No one beats the
will.
NFL, dude. No one beats the NFL. No one ever will. The Shield comes before everybody else.
Right.
Quickly, you said like back in the when it got bad, like the 2007 through 2013-ish range, around there. Even if you weren't watching Raw regularly, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam every year, right?
Just Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, definitely.
Well, definitely WrestleMania though.
Yeah, definitely WrestleMania.
I have friends. We have our buddy Nick won't watch wrestling all year. He watches Double or Nothing and WrestleMania with us every year. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are like that.
Yeah. Well, because WrestleMania is a brand upon itself now. It's not. People don't even associate WrestleMania with the WWE. I mean, they do obviously, but I'm saying there's some people that just know, it's WrestleMania season, I want to watch WrestleMania.
Right, 100%.
The only other thing I said, and then I'm good on WWE. We take the break. Vince, if you asked him right now, if we got him on the pod and we asked him right now, there's one way Vince gauges success. It's not Nielsen ratings. It's not what that dick Dave Meltzer has to say. It's not what us dicks on Twitter have to say. It's not anything. It's not asses in seats.
Bottom dollar.
That's the bottom dollar. Asses in seats. Are they sold out every night?
No.
No, it's the bottom dollar financially. It's the
But
bottom
I understand
dollar.
what you're saying.
No, they don't have to sell out the arena anymore. They don't have to sell out the live event anymore.
That's how he gauges success is asses and seats.
Yes. In so much that, as long as he's got that action figure deal with Mattel, as long as he has the video game deal with 2K, as long as he has the TV rights with all the companies, as long as he still has M&M Mars shelling out millions of dollars to put their commercials on his programming, that's all he cares about. When he looks at his bank account and his bank account is continually growing, we're in good shape. He don't give a two fucks about AEW, and I don't care what anybody says. Yes, did he want to?
I think he does. No. I don't think he's worried they're going to take him out. But
no.
If he didn't give two fucks about AEW, why did he just pay Kevin Owens?
No, I know that was going to be the argument, but what I'm saying is he doesn't watch their show to see what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't think he doesn't watch? You think he doesn't watch?
I don't think he watches, but I think every now and then, like when Punk said called MJF the bullshit Miz or whatever. Someone definitely brought it to his attention.
They showed him the clip.
Someone showed him the
He's
clip.
never sat down and watched an episode of Dynamite.
No.
I can guarantee that. He's never sat down and watched an episode of Dynamite.
But they were the rumors that when AEW first started catching fire, they were starting to offer the don't go to AEW deals to everybody. That means you're worried in an extent.
He's going to watch his ass because he'll never let it get to a point like it did with the 83 weeks with Bischoff. Bischoff almost put him under. And he'll never get to that.
I think he starts shaking in his fucking boots if Bray showed up.
Listen, if they start doing like a 2-point whatever, because they're doing like a million viewers a week. AEW, WWE on SmackDown probably does about 2 million. I mean, and that's about the peak you're going to get at this point because of DVR and the way people watch television now. He'll bat an eyelash when they start doing the same kind of numbers that SmackDown's doing.
Right.
Doesn't matter who goes over there. If they're doing the numbers, that's the bottom line. That's all Vince cares about is the bottom line.
And what do you think Raw's doing?
Raw's doing less. They're doing under
650. 700.
I
mean, Raw.
No, they are. I see. Dave Meltzer tweets the numbers.
I'm saying, but Raw because it's on Friday. Why?
Well, it's on.
Bigger network.
USA is a smaller network than Fox.
Yeah, everyone gets Fox. You need. Nowadays everyone has cable usually.
Yeah,
but it's still everyone. Your grandma who has 13 channels gets Fox.
Here's the thing. If as long as they're doing the numbers and he's got nothing to worry about, Vince. You know what I mean? Because he'll always be number one. WWE is Clorox. WWE is Kleenex. WWE is, name something.
Q-tips.
Yeah. Name something like that. That's wrestling, and he always will be that way forever. We all love AEW. We think AEW it's a much better product than this and that. They're not even close to what Vince is, or will be close for another 10 years.
Right.
Right. I agree.
I think
when he's doing $50,000 seat arenas in Saudi Arabia, I mean that's Tony Khan can't even get into fucking England at this point. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not shitting on Tony Khan. I think Tony Khan, what they're doing is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
I think that's a good segue for us to go right into our AEW part of the show. We are going to take a quick break here from the sponsors.
So let's be honest for a second. I'm wearing Saatchi Di Dinero. This hoodie, this has got to be the most comfortable thing that I've worn in a while. So if you're going to wear this, make sure you wear it on Monday. Why?
Because it's motivated money-making Monday morning, baby.
And if it's not Monday, you better make sure it's on a Friday.
It's Fresh Cut Friday on Fresh Fit Friday.
And we got codes for this holiday season. What are they?
The code is HAVOC, HAVOC, at checkout for 10% off your total purchase. That's SaatchiDiDinero.com. Brand new release, brand new arrivals, the new Saatchi hoodie. It's got the logo embossed on the hood. They're available in clay and gray blue. You want to go get those fast.
Come on, go get it now.
Saatchi Di Dinero, always authentic, never counterfeit. All right, what's up, guys? We are back, and now we're going to discuss the other major wrestling program, nationally, internationally. That's All Elite Wrestling. No current card to really predict. Battle of the Belts coming up in a few weeks, but we don't really have a card for that yet, so we're just kind of going to generally discuss the state of AEW. I mean, we'll just go right into Winter is Coming. The other squash match, Wardlow versus Seidel or Evan Bourne, whatever you want to call him. The Dynamite Diamond match, pretty solid. Kind of knew MJF was going over. Interesting little wrinkle with Team Taz. Absolute Ricky Starks coming out.
Yeah, but that's less to do with MJF than it does to do with Dante Martin, and Leo Rush, and Taz.
And then Serena Deeb and Shida I mean, both of them could work. Solid match. I think they went like 12 and a half minutes.
I am thoroughly enjoying their program. Serena Deeb, I think, is
I like
another
Deeb a
level.
lot. I think Sheeta, you want to talk about someone who needs to learn more English.
Yes.
Sheeta, and she's gotten way better since the start, but like, you can't, she's not selling me on these promos where she's barely getting through the English, and you could tell she's translating in her head. Get her a manager or stop talking. Not everyone needs to talk. Like if you can't talk, less is more.
Well, the thing I like is that with that program, it's a lot of pre-tapes, not a lot of like live interviews.
Right.
You know, like you can get away with Britt Baker and the rest of the women's division.
Going live.
But I think the pre-tapes help Sheeta a lot because then she can, you know, oh, you screwed up, let's start over. It's not like she's on a hot mic where she's trying to get this English out that she's not too fluent with. You know what I mean?
What I'm specifically referencing is I think on Dynamite this week, she was in Dynamite live TV, middle of the ring with Shivani, and it was, I think,
Yeah, it's weak.
Tripping on her words a little bit.
And again, it's just not being comfortable with the English language.
Yeah, you can't blame her.
No, I don't blame her, but like, get her a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Write your way around it.
No, because she's phenomenal in ring. She's got a great look about her. You know, I think she's potentially one of the top girls in that company.
Better female strong style wrestler, her or Asuka.
Asuka's the best.
Asuka's the best.
Yeah. Where is Asuka? Is she
hurt? I think
she's hurt.
Oh, she is hurt. Yeah, okay. Because Asuka's fucking.
I love Asuka.
Yeah.
But Asuka's the perfect example. Like, she don't talk that great. She don't need to.
No.
She'll.
And she does that weird thing where she screams when she talks, like to try to mask. I think try to mask what's going on.
She's also trying to make herself like a real life anime character.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but it's still, it's like, I don't know, makes it more difficult.
That's that Japanese culture, though. They love that
like bubble pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the big winner is coming. Hangman Danielson won.
Well, it was the whole show. I mean, come on.
It was at least half of the show.
Yeah. Well, it was legitimately half the show, but the whole show should have been centered around that match. Hangman Adam Page was a made man in that match.
Had to do that match at the top of the card, though.
Yes.
If the second hour was all them, they would have seen a severe drop off.
Oh, of course. I mean, it was just, you know, and I know we're gonna get into it now about the finish and everything else, but Daniel Bryan helped. That was, to me, and I know Hangman won the title and that was his coming out party, but this guy's a star, like a real legitimate top of the card star.
Who, Hangman?
Hangman.
Okay.
You're going to go into the ring with an established, accomplished, phenomenal in-ring talent with Bryan Danielson and last an hour and not blow up and stick with that match for a full hour. For me, maybe not for the rest of the wrestling world, that match made it Hangman Adam Page for me.
Like, takes the belt off of Kenny, and they went about a half hour, right?
Yep.
They went about a half hour. 4-star match.
Yeah.
Maybe sub 3, high 3s, right?
Yep.
And then he comes out and does this match against Bryan Danielson. Definitely 5 stars all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Great match. Like you said, if anything, he blew Bryan up.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. I think they hung with each other awesome.
But my point is, you coming off of these two matches are really, I mean, you know, a little bit of gaga here and there, but these are his last 2 most prominent matches that we've seen him in. 2 guys that have been PWI number 1s at least once in the last 5, 7, 8 years. I mean, yeah, you're right. Made man.
Right.
Coming out party for sure. Him getting the belt, winter is coming, and now what we assume is going to happen at Battle of the Belts. When this is all said and done with the program with Danielson, and Danielson fucks off to his next mission in AEW, it will have been the official coronation, and you know we say the jetpack phrase a lot, but they're making him the guy.
When we started watching it, I thought the guy had a phenomenal look about him. He looks serious. He carries himself to the ring like he's a star. But he wasn't putting it together, you know. And I think he was a little trepidatious to try to try anything new. He wasn't real comfortable on the mic. He's really come into his own, Hangman, and this guy is a bona fide
I think
star.
he benefited from a lot of the time off he's done.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I like his entrance music. I do. I like everything about him. I do. So you think Bryan doesn't win, and then
I bet there's more fuckery that goes on at Battle
and
of the
then you
Belts.
think he just kind of disappears into a different program? That was my one thing. If that was my one negative that I had to say, that I feel like they put Bryan straight to the top, which is fine. He deserves to be. He's a main event guy. He deserves to be there. I'm not saying that, but straight into the title picture, it's like, okay, well, now what?
Well, here's what happened with that. I think the potential of Bryan getting hurt was, and with Kenny going out, they knew they had to do something with the two of them because that was probably the
only
likeliest of dream matches that they had.
Yeah.
Like you're having this guy who's an established WWE guy come into a company where this guy will, the other guy can't, the established WWE guy being Danielson, and then the AEW guy being Kenny, who's been arguably the best wrestler in the world for how many years now, and now you're having this dream match.
Right.
Now, say Bryan gets hurt in the time that Kenny's out, Kenny comes back, they don't get a chance to have a match. That's why they hot-shotted that match and put him right to the top of the card. So I think it made sense.
Initially, I always kind of figured Kenny would be coming back whenever he does from the shoulder thing he's doing, and go right back into that picture. The way I think it's going to go now, and we can get to it later on, but I think Kenny's ultimately going to come back, basically realign himself with the Bucks and split the Super Elite right down the middle, and they're going to have a war between the Elite and the Undisputed Era, so to speak.
Did you see Dynamite this week?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're 50-50 booking the Undisputed Era, or whatever you want to call them, which I can't stand that. I can't stand it. Like, the three of them come to the ring in the same color gear, silver and black. They all had silver and black trunks, like if you noticed.
Mm-hmm.
They like been doing that stand next to each other in kind of like a uniform, it's Cole in the middle with the two guys on the outside. Why? What reason would Kyle O'Reilly have to, like, did they have beef in the WWE at the end? Is that why that they're doing?
Cole turned on all of them, didn't he, at the end?
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also,
I didn't really watch
Red
a lot of
Dragon, which is the team name of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, that predates Undisputed Era for years.
Okay.
That's why he said, I know Bobby's got my back, but I don't know about you,
Right.
Adam.
Because it just feels like it's...
Because they were Red Dragoning it up while Cole was a member of the Elite over in Japan.
Okay.
And the Bullet Club.
Okay. I'm not real familiar with the background because like I didn't follow NXT like that closely. I would...
Yeah, neither did I.
I would watch like the takeovers and stuff like that, but I would not necessarily watch weekly NXT shows. So I wasn't too sure because like I just thought it was 50-50. Like are they going to be together and then they're breaking up from the Bucks, but now the Bucks are still kind of with Cole at the end of that match. So I don't know what they're going to do.
I think they want to keep you guessing, but they're not doing the best job of keeping you guessing, and it comes off as like very...
I would not be surprised if you don't see eventually a Red Dragon versus Young Bucks match.
Okay.
Where Adam Cole winds up doing his best to stay out of it, and they play that game for a little bit.
But then he gets involved and...
I would bet he doesn't get involved until Kenny shows up. Because I bet you they kind of just do the will they, won't they, rock hard place deal, and then Kenny's going to show up and grab the mic and be like, this guy's the problem, and go right to Cole.
Right.
This guy has been and he's going to talk shit to the Bucks too, and then he's going to come back and bring them back like the leader of the group that he is, and they're definitely the Elite are holding their hands high at the end.
I don't think Kenny comes back and gets involved with Danielson until he has to deal with the super click or the super elite versus the Undisputed Era. You know what I mean?
And this is one of those things where I won't blame TK for like doing you wrote yourself into a bad spot now. Because they didn't know they were going to get Bobby Fish.
Right.
They didn't know that Kyle O'Reilly was going to be coming.
Right.
Yeah, he's really writing on the fly when it comes to that kind of stuff because the signees just keep coming in. You know what I mean?
Let's finish the points about the Danielson Hangman, and then we can move on because I don't want to jump too far away. I never had a problem with the 60-minute time limit. What I have a problem with is it should be special. If every other match is a time limit draw, then none of them are time limit draws,
right. Well, just before you get too deep into it, let me just ask you two questions. Question number one, when's the last time before the Omega-Danielson match do you remember a time limit draw?
They don't have time limits in WWE.
Well, I'm just in general, in AEW.
I couldn't tell you.
So I understand that they're very close together, but I don't remember a time limit draw like that. I couldn't tell you the last one.
Very close together, and they're both Danielson.
Right. But again, in the Omega match, who goes over?
No, I was okay with that. I was okay with the Omega one.
And then this one also, like Hangman just got the title.
But why do we have to do that?
Because if you beat Danielson, then he automatically is no longer the number one contender. He gets knocked down to the third or the fourth or whatever.
But he didn't beat him.
Right. That's the point. They had to do this finish in this match. It's really unfortunate that they did them so close to one another. But in both instances, it's like you couldn't beat either guy.
Look, I know we'll look back on it in 3 years, 5 years, whatever the case may be, and be like, wow, remember he got to AEW lightning in a bottle. We gave him 60 minutes versus Omega. We gave him 60 minutes versus...
30 with Omega.
Oh, 30, yeah. But still, and we'll be like, wow, that was great. Like, we got to see that. We got to see that live. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it won't matter so much down the road. Now it just feels a little, was that... Like, that was the easy way out to book it, you know? And that's fine. But if they do it again... That's what I'm gonna have. That's what I'm gonna feel like. Wow, if these judges go and draw it up, I don't know. Then I'm gonna feel
they can't do it a third time. There's gotta be a winner. I think Hangman has to go over in that match because he needs a run.
Yeah.
And
it's fine. I agree. I think every title, especially since they're a brand new company, I think everybody who holds that title should hold it for a little more than a cup of coffee.
Here's the thing about TK is he books it very much old school style. So by putting the judges in there, there has to be a finish. So I don't think there's going to be fuckery. I think Hangman goes over clean. The judges are going to pick Hangman. It might go to a draw, but then the judges choose the winner, and I think it has to be Hangman.
What's the possibility of a zag and this match is just over in 5 minutes? Almost nothing.
Nope, 0. They wouldn't do that to Brian.
I don't know because TK keeps everybody on their toes.
Well, you could have something where because Brian's doing the over the top, super cocky heel,
right?
Where he's showing off and finishing guys with all different ways, and so you could just have him like doing some real pure wrestling shit, like a drop toe hold, and after every time he does something, he's turning around to the judges to make, oh, you see that,
right?
You see that, and then you just say he does whatever it is he does. We're only
Roll
7
up.
minutes into a match. He turns around, and yelling at the judges, oh, you guys see what I'm doing to him?
Buckshot
roll
lariat.
up, no, roll up,
roll up,
schoolboy.
Well, I could see something to the effect of him like that. That makes a lot of sense. You know, him telling the refs, "Look what I'm doing." You know, it's like him telling the ref,
He will be the whole match, no matter what.
Yeah, and I could see, because like you think about WrestleMania 28, he had that opening match with Sheamus, and he came out with AJ Lee. Brian had the title. Sheamus did the bro kick in 30 seconds, and it was like the quickest title match in the history of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So why couldn't they do another swerve where you as the audience are expecting, it's going to be another, because you've already felt the effects of it. You felt the effects of the two. Like for me, the 2 time limit draws, it's like this is as old school as it gets. It's phenomenal.
I'm fine with it.
No, I was fine with it. My thing on it is...
Do I hate another 60 minutes of them? Absolutely not. It's just...
Yeah.
No, I would love another 60 minutes of the two.
You just don't want to
to
draw.
No, it's not even the... I just felt like once... Because like I said, I think I knew halfway through that match maybe that it was going to 60.
Which one?
The one that went 60.
Oh, yeah, right.
About halfway through that match, I knew it was going... No, right away we looked at each other.
Yeah, we knew that
we
one
were
was
like,
going 30 no matter what.
About halfway through the match, I was like, this is going 60, which makes sense. But I get this vibe that it's like Brian, it's like a dick swinging contest. Like he's trying to go prove, like I'm going to go do all these Iron Man matches now. And like
to WWE.
Yeah, to WWE, to any of his naysayers, to the world that doesn't know him from Ring of Honor and from...
You see the comments Ric Flair made?
About how great it was?
No. Ric Flair basically... Without shitting on Daniel Bryan.
No, Mick Foley was the one who said how great it was, right?
Yeah, but yeah. Ric Flair loved the match. Before, because he's got a new podcast he's got out, and it's called Woo Nation with Ric Flair, and it's Woo Nation Uncensored. So it's him shooting on guys, and they, the guy, what's his name? Mark Madden does it, and Mark Madden brings up current wrestlers, and he said, "What do you think about Daniel Bryan?" And he goes, "Not everybody can be a top guy." That was his answer, immediate answer. And Mark Madden's like, well, he is a top guy. And Rick's like, well, what kind of numbers is he doing? This and that. Basically shitting on him without shitting on him. And then the match happened, and he still didn't change his tune. Like, oh, yeah, the guy went 60. I went 60 with everybody back in the day. So he's kind of downplaying Daniel Bryan. So I wonder if, because Ric Flair is the king of the 60-minute draw, I wonder if he's doing that as like a fuck you to Ric Flair. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you don't respect me. You don't have...
See, now, I wouldn't put it past AEW to come up with something that intricate. I would totally be like, now you're overthinking if it was WWE. But for AEW, I could see it, My only thing with the roll-up, back to the roll-up, if the roll-up does happen, I don't think that, in my mind, that doesn't eliminate him from the title picture.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the only problem I have.
That's why I think it would make kind of sense, because you don't illegitimize Bryan as a top contender by doing that.
Yeah, but I want him out of the title picture.
Well, you could still have a number one contender, and then you could work your way into a triple threat, something like that, and then eventually Bryan could lose that match without taking without doing the job, and then you work him out. What I want to see is Punk Bryan go on a tag run. That's what I want to see.
Not yet.
Unlikely.
No, eventually.
I don't really want to see that.
Before it's all said and done.
You know what I think would be a good position for Bryan would be the TBS championship or the TNT. You know, because that allows him to be on.
I like that belt on Cody.
I don't think he needs a
I like
belt.
it on Cody too, but I mean, we'll get to Cody, but I just think I don't think he needs a belt either. But he wants to be wrestling every single week. You know, he's viewing this as this is his last.
This
run.
is the last full-time run.
This is his last like prime time. I'm in the prime of my career. Full.
You got 3 years. You got me twice a week, every week.
Right, and I think the TNT championship would be good on a Friday night. You know, you're going to get Daniel Bryan. You know, he's going to put somebody over. You know, he doesn't need to necessarily be in the title picture. I think Hangman needs a long run to really cement himself.
So do I.
Yes.
And Hangman's young.
Yeah.
So Hangman's
29?
he's got.
Yeah, it's young. That's young.
He's
wrestling.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Your prime in wrestling is like 35 to 40.
So I'm saying Punk and Bryan will be long gone and should be long gone, and Hangman will be carrying probably the company, and even Omega's 40,
34.
oh 34, 30 is older.
Yeah.
36, or mid to late.
He's
30s.
around my age. I think he's around my maybe
Yeah,
a
he
little
might
younger.
be closer to
A little
38.
younger.
Yeah, I thought he was. Yeah. So you look at that.
Still
and
prime.
Yeah.
Hangman needs the belt now. But if I'm naming, I can't name anybody else who I really feel needs it. That's the best part. Omega doesn't need it. Adam Cole doesn't need it. We were there live. We saw how over he is. Guy like that doesn't.
He's a heel.
He doesn't need it.
Biggest pop of the night. Maybe second to Jericho.
I think what they could do is they could have Kenny come back, have Kenny and him get back into their feud, have him beat Kenny, and then go into a title run.
All of this is the exact opposite of what we just spoke about before the break on WWE. Like WWE, we're like fantasy book it, and we're like, oh, I don't know. There's not many places to go. And AEW, it's like, I don't know. There's too many places to go.
Right.
And that's the difference. You know what I mean?
We talked about this the other day.
I don't want to bury Sammy.
They could use a second hour of television.
They could.
The problem is, like a second hour on Rampage.
Yeah.
Problem is, if you're going to do that, you can't do this Dynamite, Rampage, and Dark all in one night.
No.
No, you could do a 10-hour show, it feels like? It's like
what was it, a 6-hour show?
and it felt like 10.
Two separate tapings.
When we went, it was Dark, Elevation, Dynamite, and Rampage, 2 hours of Rampage,
Yeah.
because it was the New York show.
Yep.
So that's 2, 2, 1, 1. So
Yeah.
that's 6
It
hours.
felt like
It's a-
10.
It's
Too
a
much.
long fucking night,
It's
dude.
too much.
Probably
And
because
then-
you couldn't get
and
food
you-
and drinks, but
And you can
digress.
see it. You can see it on certain Rampages when the crowd just doesn't have it in it. Like if Rampage isn't red hot on fire, the crowd doesn't have it in them.
They should have a
The
2-hour.
crowd gets tired.
They should have a 2-hour Rampage with one of the dark shows, and then a 2-hour Dynamite with one of the dark shows, and they should film them live. And even if you do them like WWE used to do, you do 1 week live, then the next week taped, and then the next week live, then the next week taped.
Yeah.
But having
Or just do them both on tape delays because
Yeah.
I understand one of the benefits of AEW is that you come in on Wednesday and you leave on Thursday morning. That's one of the reasons
Right.
a lot of these other guys are turned on to it, like Punk and like
yeah, but
Moxley.
that's why you got to have, like you and I have always discussed, if you have 2 shows, you do half your show on one show, and like you can make the Rampage TNT title. That's the main title on
that
Rampage.
that title should only be on Rampage as of this week.
Yes,
'Cause
agreed.
there's no reason it should be on
And
Dynamite.
just like Dynamite should have the TBS.
only have TBS. Yep.
So speaking of the TBS title, who's gonna win that tournament?
I think it's Jade.
It's got to be Jade.
It's gonna
right?
be Jade against Ruby, right?
Jade and Ruby. Yep.
Look, I love Ruby. I would love for Ruby to get her roses because she never really got her roses.
No.
And listen, even during the whole Heart of the Woman's Revolution, I have no facts. This is just how I feel. She's not very pretty. She's not very nice to look at. She's not one of these girls that.
I wouldn't kick Ruby out of bed.
Right, but you know what I'm saying. Like she's not.
That's just me.
I agree.
She's not coming out here and doing like really sexing it up.
No. She's she's
and
believable.
even the ones who aren't, like she doesn't have the big fake cans.
No.
And I think that was to her detriment with WWE.
Well,
because
they don't like the emo girls.
No.
They don't like the emo girls. You know, and she's an emo girl.
Punk.
But she'll get her flowers.
She
dude.
will.
Yeah.
And I would love to see her get it. And I think she's ready. She can get that strap and go.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Jade is still so green, and Smart Mark makes it better.
Yeah.
But I think the
It's
way
okay.
the way they've been pushing Jade, I think Jade goes over.
Yeah, it's okay. Because if everybody from WWE makes the jump here and becomes champion, it dilutes the whole process. Let it be a long road. Let it have, like, if I want to watch and I want to feel like I did with Paige, where he wins and I'm like, nice. Like, that's awesome. Like, the culmination, that was, I want to feel rewarded.
From day one, he wrestled Jericho for the inaugural belt, and we said that guy's going to be champion one day, and it's going to
Not
be
now, but one
yeah,
day,
not now, but
and
eventually.
then it happened. You're
and it was
like,
the ultimate
yep,
payoff.
perfect. Like, and they could do that with everybody that we were naming. That we could do that with everybody.
One of these days, Jungle Jack Perry is going to be a singles champion, and the payoff is going to be worth it.
Here's the thing about Jade and Ruby. You could conceivably have them trade the title back and forth. You could have either one is a logical choice to win, and that's why that tournament. Like, people say tournaments in wrestling don't work. Tony Khan booked this.
Do.
Tony Khan has booked these tournaments perfectly. He knows how to set up a tournament. Like, one of the worst WrestleManias is considered WrestleMania 4 because the whole show is a tournament, which culminates in Macho Man winning the tournament to win the WWF Championship. People think that's one of the worst WrestleManias ever because Vince didn't know how to book a tournament. Where Tony Khan has taken this women's tournament, he's made every match mean something. You know, he's had the Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida feud come out of that tournament, which has been a phenomenal feud. He's had the Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa thing extend. I mean, he's done all these things to not only push the girls forward, have some girls take a step back, but push girls forward. And he's made every match mean something.
So Tony Khan has I don't know this answer, but he has no prior experience to booking of any sort.
Well,
he as a young kid would fantasy book his own wrestling shows, and they were always called Dynamite. It wasn't always Wednesday night, but he always
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like he would fantasy book and write his own shows,
like from his room.
Yeah, as a kid.
I'm saying, but he has no professional.
No.
He was never paid to book a show.
He was a super fan. He's an ultimate.
Yeah, but we got super fans in his room, so I'm saying
$1 billion though. He's a billionaire super fan.
Yeah,
I understand that, but I'm saying it's nothing more than that.
It wasn't just Tony. Well, it wasn't just Tony Khan. It was the collection of the 4 EVPs and Tony Khan all coming together.
No, I know.
He definitely leaned on the 4 of them way more earlier on than he does now. At this point, their roles are really just for show. They don't really do anything within the company. They just wrestle at this point.
Right.
Earlier on, the first 9, 10, 12 months, I bet you they were in meetings every week.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too dissimilar from how Vince used to do things when he had his 4 guys. But now it's just
but Vince grew up in it.
He also
think about it. Vince was there at a young age. This guy's in a bedroom. You got to give him credit.
But
man.
if you say if we had billions of dollars between the 3 of us, we could start a wrestling promotion tomorrow. We could say, hey, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt,
Matt
Cardona, all these guys.
But I don't want to make it seem like it's that easy. Although I believe we could put on a great show, us 3. I don't want to make it seem like it's a walk in the park.
Money makes everything easier.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like just at the same, the same token, right? Tony Khan has done all this amazing stuff with his money and his resources and this and that. The Jaguars are the biggest fucking dumpster fire in the NFL.
Oh, sure.
And it's just Shad Khan and so what's going on over there?
Right.
The Urban Meyer nonsense.
Well, you have to. I know
it's not the same because it's like there's GMs and presidents, and that's really Shad's deal.
Right.
And Tony Khan, I think, has a small role with the Jaguars, if any at all.
He's involved, but he's not like AEW is his main.
It's just the idea that AEW is on this huge trajectory up, while simultaneously the Jaguars have just been getting worse and worse as an organization.
Yeah, but pro
sports. Mind-blowing.
Well, two things that really helped him were, number one, the pandemic. It everybody's home watching wrestling, so regardless if he had nobody in the arenas or not, he's putting on a show every single week that's getting crazy numbers because everybody's home watching. And number two, he came at a time when us as wrestling fans, we're all clamoring for a new outlet of wrestling. We've had WWE, Impact's been there, but Impact has never been even a close second to WWE.
I mean, Tony Khan had the money. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tony Khan had the same amount of money 5 years ago, 10 years ago, right?
Yeah,
right.
I think it was the lack of production at WWE, the lack of giving the fans what they want, where he was like, you know what? I'm doing it. I wasn't going to do it, but now I'm doing it.
And it was also let's not take anything away from Cody Rhodes here.
Right.
Cody gets fired or leaves, whatever it is, goes on. Now, he's been with the company since 1819, so he don't know anything about WWE. He leaves, and the first year in his career he ever breaks 7 figures is his first year working all of the indies. And now he goes and he sees all these different styles of wrestling. He meets the Bucks. He meets Kenny. He sees how all this other different stuff works. They all get to talking like I'm sure all these guys always get to talking. And then also the perfect storm of Tony Khan coming into the mix, and now here we are with AEW.
So
I think it's not just Tony; it's the
Cody-
perfect storm of everything.
Circumstance. It's a lot of
Cody
circumstance.
Rhodes. I don't know if you guys ever heard the story about Cody Rhodes, but he talks about John Cena.
Yeah,
Yeah, you ever hear that?
Oh, you just refresh my memory.
Where
he
he
used to ride with Cena, and in the car, Cena would
Yeah.
be going over all the numbers, and that's when he was like, "Oh, I'm staying with this guy," and he learned everything he could from
Right.
Yeah,
Cena.
but he said he never understood it. He never understood why he looked about the T-shirt numbers and everything like that. After, and he's like, I don't
Yeah.
get it. And he said the first year on the independent scene, he's like, oh my god, I became John. Like I care so much. Like at every show, I'm sweating. I'm wiping the sweat with a towel, and I have a young guy, a girl come up to me, hand me a piece of paper, and I'm looking through my numbers. Not even showered yet, trying to see what I sold, how I did, blah blah blah. You know, and he said,
Cena would be in the car leaving the arena, and he would call wanting the numbers for just his match, like the Nielsen numbers.
Yeah.
He that's how crazy he would get. Like he doesn't want to know the number for the night. What was the number
for me,
for
My
the last
segment.
half hour when
For
I was
my
out
segment,
there?
yeah.
which I think that greatly helped.
That's good for personal growth.
I think that helped Cody Rhodes, man. The thing I wanted to say before, when we were talking about Cody and we said we'd get back to it when we're on AEW, there's a lot of backlash, right? You were saying that,
They're giving him the Cena treatment.
well, the Cena treatment, but they're really giving them the Triple H treatment. Because a lot of people are saying that he's not around, he's not backstage. There was a couple rumors and reports last week that he's never around, he doesn't help the younger guys anymore, or things of that nature. And they were debunked heavily by the people at AEW writing, like the people on the roster writing, tweeting, "You're out of your mind. He's always back there." And a couple people actually said that for Christmas, Brandy and him showed up at the arena on the next whatever before everybody got there and dropped Christmas gifts off for everybody. And a lot of the young guys came to the aid and said he's always there to help us. He's always, but people are. That's what they're trying to portray him as now, as this guy who's, well, he's a made man.
I think there's a lot of trigger quickness on people to fear the John Cena-fication or the Hulk Hogan-ification of a superstar. And you see him, he's out, he's on the Go Big show. He's on whatever else Turner. If Turner needs somebody, Cody's the
Well,
first
he's got
guy they call.
the roads to the top.
Yeah, he's got his own TV
Brandy's
show about
reality
his
show.
life.
Yeah.
It's only he was
That's
in,
fine. He deserves every bit
He
of
was
it.
in Arrow, multiple episodes of Arrow.
Yeah, but when you turn on
So they see that and they're worried. Is this going to be the new Cena? Are we going to get 20 years, 10 years, 5 years of Cody shoved down our throats?
Well,
I think that's what it is.
you turn on Dynamite and you watch the commercials. The commercials are the Go Big show, the Brandy and Cody show. You go to the store or you go to shopaew.com. Who's the two top people that are there? You know, you see the promotions for Dynamite. It's Brandy and Cody. You go to the action figure aisle. It's Brandy and Cody. I mean, so people feel like they're being force fed.
But they're not, though.
But it's not like Cena, where Cena was like, we're going to beat everybody. He's going to be on every T-shirt. He's going to be on every lunchbox, every action figure, everything else. So Cody's just the face of the company right now because people don't know who Hangman. Like the hardcore wrestling fan knows Hangman Adam Page. You go to a WWE event, I would say two out of 4 people are not going to know who. So 50% of people are not going to know who Hangman Adam Page is.
It's like
Darby Allin. They're not going to know who Darby Allin
of course,
is. They're
of
not going to
course.
know who. You know, I'm just so Cody is the face. Everybody knows Cody. You go to a WWE event, you say to three out of 4 people are going to go, "Oh, I know Cody."
I think it's unfair to say also, which obviously we're not backstage, but that he doesn't help or he doesn't this or that. Because, like, you have so much talent over there to learn from now. Like a Punk, a Brian,
Dustin's their head trainer.
right.
a Dustin.
And Dustin's only there because of Cody. So
You know, even, I
and
mean,
you know what? Good leaders delegate. So what if he's got so much on his plate that he delegates he's delegating some of the teaching and some of the mentoring to his brother. Who is there a better guy alive right now that
No.
can still get in there and go for it
Right.
to learn from?
Well,
No,
think
I
about
don't think there is.
Think about it this way. He shows up to the arena. He's got to do all the EVP stuff. You know what I mean? The behind the scenes stuff that we don't know about, that we don't see. Then he's got to go take promo pictures. Then he's got to go sign, 150 copies of a card that Upper Deck is now going to sell. Then they're pulling him to the side. Hey, you got to come film this segment for Brandy, the Roads to the Top. Now you got to go back. Oh, now you got to take a conference call because we're going to bring T-Pain onto the Go Big show. Like, So
every time they bring one of these special needs kids or the
Make-A-Wish.
like, I don't know if it's Make-A-Wish, but
Whatever.
what I mean.
yeah, but like
he's every one of these videos. He's the first person that's hugging gets down on a knee, gets eye to eye with these kids, and like, come on, dude.
people are.
And Cena was the same way. No one's even the second person with the most Make-A-Wishes granted is like almost 1,000 short of Cena.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Cena. You can shit on Cena, but that guy worked as hard as anybody can work to get to the position that he's in and maintain. Not only that, he wanted to make sure that he maintained that level of position. Because why wouldn't you want to be the top guy? Why wouldn't you want to be the top merch seller? Why wouldn't
Cena cared?
Right.
Cares. There's a lot of top guys that don't care. Didn't care.
How about this? Go right now. Either one of you guys get in your car, drive to a hospital, go to the sick children section, and tell me that doesn't pull on your heartstrings. John Cena does it in every single town he's in. You know how mentally and
Taxing.
Taxing that is on you.
You know what I'm saying?
But guess what?
But people shit
He's
on
a suit. No, I understand. But guess what? From his perspective, he's a superstar. Like that. Like he's done the right thing. Largely done the right thing. I've never heard a. I don't think I've ever heard a bad story about him.
If I walked into like the children's cancer unit at Stony Brook, like it's not going to change their day to see me. Like as negatively taxing as it is on you, this like.
Oh, you make a kid's life.
The good feeling that you're going to get just off of that best for you. It's just 30 minutes in a hotel. For that kid, it's the best half hour he's ever going to fucking live.
Right, which is crazy.
So just as a for instance, I don't let my daughter watch wrestling because she's not the age where she should be watching wrestling. She's 4 years old. It's like she doesn't understand that it's fake, whatever. You know what I mean? Not fake. It's staged, not you know.
Choreographed. Yeah.
You understand? She knows who John Cena is.
Of course she does.
She's 4 years old. She knows.
He's on the Fruity Pebbles box.
Right.
He's on the Cocoa Pebbles box.
Right. So I mean, just as a for instance, and I think because AEW is the smart fan show. You know, the people who read the message boards, the people who know all the ins and outs of wrestling, know the terminology. We're not my boss Wendy who believes that it's real. You know what I mean? No, she doesn't believe that it's real, but she gets so into it
Super
that she feels
invested.
you know the Drew gangster
Drew. If Cena lost, Drew's night like turned.
Yeah.
And this is a grown man we're talking about.
He's
He's
like
in his 50s.
No, we call him Drew the gangster.
I know.
'cause-
Yeah,
you know Drew the gangster.
He's met Drew.
Yeah, so
Plenty
you
of
know,
times, yeah.
like Drew's in the corner crying when John Cena loses. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
And
so
Drew also has an autistic son.
right.
So and that's why he has the special tie to John Cena.
Right. So also, so the point I'm making is the smart fan who thinks they know everything, they need to pin that Cena-ism onto somebody, and Cody's that guy, and that's what's happening right
You
now.
think if this is just for an instance, just really quick, you think if Cena jumped to AEW, it would be like Hogan jumping to WWE?
Yes.
You think it'd have that impact?
Yeah.
Especially if he showed up and healed out right away like
Yeah.
Hogan did. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like
Well, Hogan was there for a year and a half before he healed out.
WCW?
Yep.
I thought he showed up right away and
He
was
got
the third
there.
guy.
He got there. Nope. He got there in 1994, and had a run. He had a Bash at the Beach. He wrestled. He had a run with Ric Flair, and then they brought in Brutus the Barber Beefcake, who was his best friend, and then they had a run, and then he had a run with Macho Man, and he had a run with a bunch of guys, Vader, and he didn't turn heel till August 1996, or the end of July, beginning August 1996. So he was there for basically almost 2 full years before he turned heel.
I didn't realize that.
He had a run with people were sick of the red and yellow.
So basically, MJF is beating on somebody. Let's say Jungle Boy, right? And Cena's music hits, and he comes out to make the save, and just jumps in and starts beating up Jungle Boy too, and MJF and him close the show out with their hands in the air. Does that that would change everything forever, kind of thing?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. You say, and I agree with you, that they're not close. Like Vince isn't scared, but it's one away from being scared. It's like one historic moment.
Well, Cena will never go there. Vince will make sure. of that.
Yeah, you say that, but Hulk was never going. So it's like
no, because the difference between Hulk went into the steroid trial. That's the difference. When Vince was being persecuted,
I'll give it to you.
Then-
I'll give it to you. I mean, listen, I
so
wasn't,
the relationship, the Cena Vince relationship is so different than because Cena's relationships, Vince's relationships post Hogan and pre Hogan, two different things. Because if you look at the guys that they hold in the highest regard in WWE, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all 5 of those guys post Hogan.
and stayed forever and blah blah blah.
Now I don't know exactly how many reigns Roman has, not to have a play on words, I mean title reigns here. I don't know what that number is for him. Do you guys even know?
No.
Like 7, 8,
gotta
something
be,
like
yeah.
that.
Let's say now Roman's got to be the guy because, I mean, it could be Randy. Randy's at like 11, but I just
No.
don't see it. Let's say Roman was at a higher number right now, and they pushed him, and he cracked 16. And now Tony Khan calls John like, hey, man, Roman just passed you, but you have a chance to do something Roman's never going to do. You're going to be an AEW champion also. You don't think that would be a situation where he would go over? Because, like, if he goes over there and becomes a one-time AEW champion and has a historic moment like that, that might supersede Hulk for him. 100 years from now, that might at least put him up as just as good.
It's all going to play
But
out.
I think the biggest linchpin for that is somebody needs to either touch 16 or break it, because then John would have to feel disrespected by Vince to go over.
It all plays out. It all plays out about money, like you said, and it all plays out if Tony Khan feels disrespected. See, you're saying Vince, I say Tony Khan. If Tony Khan loses somebody of magnitude, like MJF, if they lose MJF, then, like, just say MJF jumps to WWE, right? And now Tony Khan goes, I don't want to say I made him. I don't want to say that, but let's just say Tony Khan feels some type of way that WWE offered him $1 billion. Just say whatever, whatever. $10 million they offered MJF. He goes. Now Tony Khan feels like, okay, you're gonna take my guy. Now I'm offering $20 million. I'm offering the boat to Cena for 1 year.
Hey,
I need
John,
you 1 year.
Hey, John, what did Warner Brothers pay you for Peacemaker and for Suicide Squad? I'm going to match that, if not go more.
Because I can.
Give me a 12.
I don't care about my bottom dollar.
Contract, 24 appearances.
I don't care about my bottom dollar.
As awesome as it is to think about Cena going to AEW,
Never gonna happen.
Never happens.
The only thing we've learned in this business is never say never, but I think it's just.
But here we go. Never.
I mean, we said never about Sting. We said never about Sting. We said never about AJ Styles.
Here's the thing. I never said never about AJ Styles, and I never said
you said never about
I never
AJ
said never
Styles.
about Sting. But with Cena, Hulk started not in the WWF. He started elsewhere. Cena wrestled for a small promotion out in California, and then was on OVW, which was owned by WWE, and has been in the WWE system for 20 plus years and has only known WWE. He is him and The Rock. Like, I don't ever see The Rock going to AEW. I don't ever see Stone Cold Steve Austin ever going anywhere else, even though Austin came up through the territories.
Yeah.
I just think Cena is so closely tied with Vince, and I think even though Vince and Shawn and Vince and Hunter have such a special relationship, I think, because nobody knows what the relationship between Cena and Vince is, I think that's on such a higher level than anybody really realizes. I think Cena never goes anywhere else. And I think he's gotten to that point where he's not on The Rock's level, because nobody's on The Rock's level in Hollywood, I'm saying. But he potentially,
He'll get there.
if Peacemaker's a big show, Peacemaker
He was so funny in Suicide Squad.
looks phenomenal. Like, it looks so funny to me. I mean, to me, I'm not saying it's going to be. I mean,
He won't be
great.
there. He won't ever be The Rock, but he'll be.
And that's a smart move too, by giving him like a C level comic book character, so he can be Peacemaker now.
Well, he's
not gonna have to compete like Batman. There's who's
Isn't he? Black Adam is The Rock, right?
Yeah.
Who's also he's in that movie, Black Adam.
Black Adam Shazam.
He's Shazam.
Who's Shazam?
No,
Zach
Black-
Levi?
No, Black Adam is Shazam's number one villain.
No, I know, but Cena is in that movie, Black Adam.
Yeah, he might have like a cameo
As
or
Peacemaker.
something.
No, he's a character.
As Peacemaker.
I'll look it
He's
up.
only going to be in there as Peacemaker. So I could see him being in there as Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. Yeah.
But
Here's what I wanted to say, and I understand it's different. I understand why it's different. But you bring up John pretty much has all of his ties with WWE. You know
Right.
what I'm going to say, right?
no,
Cody.
With-
Cody was the same thing. Hired at 18. All he
Yeah.
ever, and I'm going to follow it up with Cardona.
yeah,
I know why it's different, but you get what I'm saying.
no.
Matt Cardona, I bet you he winds up getting a bag and going back to WWE
Oh, sure.
in 2 years' time.
He looks phenomenal.
He
Right?
looks amazing.
But the thing about Cardona and Cody, neither one of them ever got to the heights that's.
I know.
That's the difference. I mean,
I
Cena
agree.
was the top guy.
But Cardona for at least half a decade was willing to collect his $300,000 a year and never be on TV just because he loved being a
Well,
part of the company.
he's still a WWE mark. I mean,
Yeah.
if you listen to his podcast or watch his YouTube show, he is still a gigantic. Maybe he's not a mark for the current company, but as like for me, my favorite period of wrestling is always like 1989 to like 1991 WWF. Like that's the best period for me. So, and like Cardona grew up in that same time period. But Cena is just, and like I said, nobody knows what Vince and Cena's relationship is really like. Obviously, they got to be close.
I mean, I bet you Paul Levesque knows, but
Yeah.
it's not known common.
I mean, and I'm just saying like their relationship has got to be on such a higher level than every other. Maybe The Rock has a similar relationship with Vince, but nobody has a relationship with Vince the way Cena does, and nobody will ever know what that. You never see them on the documentaries yucking it up, or because it's that close and tight of a relationship. And I think they were always on the same wavelength, and Vince could put his trust in Cena above any other person, above The Rock, above Stone Cold, above Shawn Michaels, maybe not above Triple H, but everybody else. And I think that's why he never leaves.
I have one more question on AEW, and then I think I'm good on the current. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we didn't touch, but we'll be back next month. Check
Sure.
us out at the same station.
I would like to talk about Hook, but that's another story.
We could bring Hook up. This is my last thing that I want to just make sure we get in. Why am I already fucking blanking on what I was going to say?
Well, here, let's just talk real quick because
We'll bring up
it's
Hook.
fresh. They have done everything right with Hook. And I hope that they continue to do everything right. You could talk about the non-selling or anything else, but like you and I were discussing.
I remember now. We could do Hook now. I remember what I had to say.
But Taz was such a special performer, and they're trying to make Hook a mini Taz. Awesome. Like that's what, as a fan, when you see Brian Pillman Jr., you think about Brian Pillman. When you see, not now so much because Randy's made his own thing, but when you first saw Randy Orton, you thought about Bob Orton.
Right.
You always think about like that second generation wrestler, and you think about their parents. Yes, guys get beyond that and they make their own names.
Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair, Cody, Goldust. You know what I mean? But the association with Hook has been Taz because he's part of the FTW team and everything else. And I think his debut, his two matches, the non-talking, his attitude coming to the ring, the Action Bronson theme song, they've done everything right with this guy.
They're selling him as just like a real tough guy.
Yeah. And I think Tony Khan now has potentially the greatest crop of young talent any wrestling company has ever had that could potentially send him in so far into the future, barring everybody doesn't get hurt. It's incredible. You look at Jungle Boy, MJF, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, Hangman Adam Page, still a young guy.
Mike Wardlow.
Yeah, Wardlow.
No, none of the guys you just named are over 30.
No.
Yeah. Dr. Britt Baker, Ty Conti, Anna Jay. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And
And then you got the guys in their early 30s that are ready to take the ball and go, like Cole and Red Dragon.
Right.
And
No one's
Bucks.
going to miss Punk in 5 years. When his run's over, it's over.
Yeah.
Punk's not even a Punk who he and I would have said he goes to any company, he's the number one guy. He's not even the number one guy. He's not even the top 5 guys in the company.
That's what I'm saying. So no one's.
I think that's
when his,
part of it by design, though. Like, I think,
no,
I don't think
yeah.
he wants to overshadow
No,
anybody.
but if he wanted to be, they could have got over there, put the strap right on him, and he could
Yeah,
have been.
but he's always been for the boys.
They'll heal him.
Everything he's ever done has always been for the boys in the back.
They'll heal him up.
always.
They'll heal. They'll turn him into a heel when he's ready to make a run. He'll heel, turn, and he'll go.
My concern is this: there's more guys that I would like to see them sign. Number 1, Bray Wyatt. Number 2, Jeff Hardy, because I think
When Bray's done shooting that movie, have the contract ready.
yeah.
It's already signed, though.
he's
It's
shooting a
already
movie right
signed.
now. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
A
And now the rumors are Vince might be interested in bringing him back.
A movie that he's making.
producing,
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
making it, starring in it, whatever.
Hardy will be there soon enough too.
So
Yeah, as soon as his 90 days are up, Jeff will be there, I believe.
You want Team Extreme or you want Brother Nero and?
no, I want like the brother Nero and
I want
Broken Matt
Willow.
Harder. Yeah.
I want to
want
see.
one more
I want to
Willow.
see.
yeah.
I want to see how creative. We always talk about how creative they are, right? I want to see how creative they can get. Like I like that shit.
Well, they
Give me the
also-
drone. Give me.
all of these characters that they're not really that known for, but like Willow is one that we saw
Yeah.
on TNA at one point. When they did Omega, the Organization of Modern Extreme Grappling Arts, which was their little backyard promotion that they ran in North Carolina, Shane Helms was there, Matt Hardy was there, Jeff Hardy was there. There was a few other, Shannon Moore was an original Omega member. but they only had maybe 10 guys on their roster. So they created other characters to add to their roster. So Jeff and Matt would both wrestle 3 times a night. Jeff Hardy would wrestle, Will-O the Wisp would wrestle, and Mean Jimmy Jack would wrestle. So they both have a character library like 10 deep. So they don't even need to create something new. They could just go to the fucking bag. This is a character I kicked around a little bit 20 years ago. Let me bring this to life. And Jeff has that mind where he can do it.
I don't like the HFO. I'm like very done with the HFO. I love Private Party. I like Matt Hardy. I even like Butcher and Blade.
I like the idea of Big Money Matt. The HFO just hasn't come to.
It just doesn't. It doesn't work.
It feels like a bunch of guys that had nothing to do. They threw them all together.
It feels a very much WWE style booking, and they need to see, like, if they brought Wyatt in. The way I see it is, you have him take over the Dark Order, but you don't call it the Dark Order. He disbands the Dark Order. You get rid of Silver because Silver is a face.
I think he should show up and smash them all.
No, I think Cabana's got to go, Silver's got to go, Reynolds got to go. I think Stu Grayson and Evil Uno are definitely part of that group, and I think Angels and 10 both can go in there also.
10's another, like, they kind of waste their big guys almost. Mm-hmm. Like Wardlow not doing much, Jake Hager not doing much. I get why Jake Hager isn't, because he's an active Bellator fighter.
Right.
10, Preston Vance. Now I think that's just because 10's a little green, and I think Brody was still alive today. You know, God rest his soul. I think 10 might be way more active and relevant. Because I think Brody was really going to be responsible for bringing all these young guys along.
Oh yeah. I think Brody loved that role. Yeah. You know, but I think if they could put Wyatt in there, you bring in Eric Redbeard, you bring in Strowman, and now he's got the faction, the dominant faction. You have him run roughshod over the entire company, beat Hangman Page for the title,
kick the Pinnacle's heads in, start writing guys off of TV.
Yeah.
Do the old kayfabe injury and write motherfuckers off of TV.
And now it becomes, you know, Bray Wyatt's group versus AEW. Not this group, not that group. It's because he's brainwashing everybody. He could take on Anna Jay and brainwash her. Oh, you loved whoever, and now you don't love him anymore.
Split Griff and Brian Pillman.
Yeah,
take
like
one of them away.
Exactly. And then you inject this Bray Wyatt madness into all these people. I mean, it's so easy to do it, and it's just, you know, we'll see what happens.
And oh my God, it could have been done 3 years. It could have been done 5 years ago. It could have been done.
The thing I said I wanted to speak about that I instantly blanked on, I'm gonna pose it as a question because I've been thinking about this myself lately. Where are both of you at with Dan Lambert? With Dan Lambert and his position and his character and how it's been going on Dynamite. You know who Dan Lambert is, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Right. I know you know who he is.
Go ahead.
Where are you guys at with him? I'll answer later how I feel like after you guys are both done.
I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
I think Dan Lambert, I listen to him every single week cut a promo. I think his promos are great. The delivery's not there, but what he's saying in the promos, awesome. I love that he's like a petulant child. I think Ethan Page potentially is a stud, like a monster stud. I like Scorpio Sky. I don't think the guy could talk worth a lick. I think he needs Dan Lambert as the mouthpiece. I think Ethan Page kind of has to get away from that, even though I think he fits within that dynamic. I thoroughly enjoy Dan Lambert though as a heel.
As a mouthpiece?
Yeah, as a heel mouthpiece. I don't want to see him wrestle. He's got no business being in the ring.
So keep him with...
I think he could build a stable. You know, he should keep the MMA stuff on this side and then have America's top team AEW. And if they do that, and then you have Page in there, and then you have Sky in there, and then you add other guys, I like that idea.
And start changing movesets. This is a fucking American top team. Arguably the greatest one of the greatest gyms in modern MMA. Let Ethan Page start throwing some wheel kicks. Yeah. Give him fucking wrist tape his ankles. Let him go in there and put someone in an arm triangle. You know, like.
So what do you think about it?
In the beginning, I thought it sucked.
Yeah.
I thought it was a guy with a lot of money who was probably friends with Tony Khan for a long time, lifelong fan of wrestling. We obviously know that. Used his position of influence to get in to have a little fucking fun. And it was playtime. I didn't like that there was at least 3 of those top team fighters that did it once when they were standing in the ring with him. Then they did interviews saying it was fucking stupid and a waste of their time and they would never do it again. So that right away I was like, well, no one we don't want you in this community. Then,
Yeah,
that's
what I'm saying.
That's how I felt. Like,
separate the two.
we don't need you in this community. You think it's fucking stupid? And there was one of the girls, not Paige.
You don't think it's blurring lines?
Well, it does blur lines, but it's not when you do it. And then it's the other girl from Top Team that wasn't Paige Van Zandt. She comes out right after and gives an interview. This isn't a promo. This is an interview with the magazine talking about how it's dumb. It was a waste of her time. She never wants to be there again. And then she said, I would beat Chris Jericho's ass in a real fight. Like, everyone knows that.
I thought Paige said that.
No, Paige said that on TV.
Okay.
This girl said it, like, meaning, like, if I would kill Chris Jericho if we got into a fight.
Oh, like, she was shooting.
Now you're fucking kayfabe up. You don't want to be there, leave.
Right.
Don't use it. You don't want to be there. You think it sucks, but you're using it to because this is.
But what's
this
the
is
reason?
A Bellator fighter.
Yeah, but what's the reason behind this? Like, you think it's for views? Like, you think that they brought him in originally? I know you were saying like it's for fun and
I
the
think
friendship.
they found out that he could talk, and that's why they kept him around.
No, so this is my point. Is in the beginning I hated it. I didn't think it was great. The more it goes on, I love this guy.
Yeah,
he gets it.
He's awesome on the mic.
His fighters might not. First of all, if nothing more comes out of this, Paige Van Zandt starting a pro wrestling career because that girl, she's got the look, she's got the background. Realistically, she should be able to.
Not a good fighter anymore.
Yeah, and she's lost 2 of her last 3 fights. So like
more than that.
And I know. Well, I'm talking 2
bare
or 3
knuckle.
in bare knuckle.
Yeah.
And I know she's like she does the XXX modeling and stuff online like that. She's got an OnlyFans page and shit. But like, if that's all you want to do for the rest of your life, that's fine. I don't think she does. And I think and I've said this for years now. Everyone always said Conor McGregor is like the guy who was made to transfer over. It's Paige.
Yeah.
It always was Paige. She's got the look. She's pretty.
She's not a great. She was never like a great fighter. I mean, she was.
No, she was.
She was.
She was.
She was good when she was young.
Yeah, but the thing about these fighters is they don't. None of them have legs. Like they can't go fight 40 fights and think they're going to be okay.
Yeah, and you can go out there and sign a deal with AEW.
There is one. There is one more person though. There's one more person that's
from that Top Team group.
No,
Andre?
no. From the UFC community.
I'll close my point quick. My point is, didn't like it in the beginning. Now I think he's awesome. When he's on TV, I raise the volume. I want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, but I don't like.
And he's elevating Paige and Scorpio Sky. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but I don't like when they all come in. Like,
no, the rest of them don't need to be there.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't need to see Andre Arlovski.
I don't want to keep seeing those guys come.
First of all, if I never see Junior Dos Santos on TV, whether it's MMA, pro wrestling, anywhere, don't need to see him in WWE. Don't need to see him in AEW. Don't need to see him doing cage side interviews at UFC events. I'm good on JDS.
You know what? If they want
had his moment.
If they want to bring them in occasionally to do a guest spot on a pay per view where like they're gonna back up Lambert on the outside of the ring just to protect him or whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, but we know they can't touch anybody, so it's
right. But it's just
you know what I mean. It's useless to me. I think the only person that can make the transition better than Paige Van Zandt is Colby Covington.
100%.
The guy's bigger, like he's a decent sized dude. So, Conor McGregor's like my size, just obviously a little more bulky, but Colby would be.
They got to get booked like Ronda, though. That's the thing. They have to book these fighters like Ronda, where Ronda, like, Alexa Bliss, who's one of the top girls in the company, she got squashed.
Ronda had to squash her.
Yeah.
Ruby was famous for, said this on, I listened to her on someone's pod, Jericho, Talk is Jericho. When she was doing the match with Ronda, where did they, that wasn't Mania they had their match, but they had a big pay-per-view match.
Yeah, they wrestled it like Survivor Series or something.
She got together with Ronda and she said, like, I need to know, like, from your world, like, what is illegal in your world that's legal in this world. Because theoretically, if we're only doing things that are legal in MMA, you shouldn't be able to touch me. So elbows, headbutts, you can't have. Ruby headbutted her a lot.
Right.
Bitch slaps, things like that. And she made a point, her and Ronda, to get together because we both know if you grab a hold of me on my back, it's not believable for me to get up.
Right.
I shouldn't be able to get up. I need to bite you. I need to poke your eyes out. I need to headbutt you. Things that, where I'm not cheating in pro wrestling, but it's not legal in MMA, and you wouldn't be used to it.
Which makes sense. I thought Ronda did. And this is totally like getting away from it. I think she did a phenomenal job of transitioning.
Ronda did great.
She did a phenomenal job. Yeah. I remember watching that tag team match, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like she looks phenomenal. She looks great. Yeah. When she picked up Triple H, I was like, "Holy shit!"
All right, one last thing I want to go over with AEW. Where does CM Punk and MJF culminate?
Where?
I want to say Double or Nothing.
Okay.
They're gonna be Double or Nothing, and they don't really touch each other.
How?
Because the promo that Punk cut, where he's like, "I'm done with you. Like, you want to run away from me and this and that." Then he's like, "Well, I'm done. Why am I gonna waste my time?" So I think they're gonna keep it going, but they're gonna not really touch. You know what I'm saying? Because like you want to get that fever pitch where it's like you can't wait till they touch.
And they've done a good thing with MJF from the beginning, where he's not there every week.
Right.
So we don't need an explanation for where has MJF been, because he's always touch and go.
And then 100% MJF goes over.
Yeah.
Right? Has to.
I think so. So now that we've brought that up, maybe this is a good time to transition into the program of the month, because I think we're all in agreement that is the program of the month, or no? Did you feel
it's
different?
mine?
That's you and I agree.
Yeah, I agree. It's close because I do like everything that is going on with Reigns and Brock, and even the stupid segments. Like, did you see the Sami Zayn and Brock?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did it. I actually enjoyed that.
Okay.
Like, so I there's that one, and then there's. I definitely think though MJF and
The first time that they
you take two of the best
time that they went bumping mics against each other.
Yeah,
I think MJF said it like, "You don't want to go on the stick with me, Punky."
Right.
Like that whole moment, right then and there, we knew we had something special.
Yeah.
Well, even the trios tag match with MJF and
Stinger and Darby and FTR.
Yeah, I
and
thought
Punk.
that was like, they didn't touch each other. They get in the ring together and then Punk gets right back out, or not Punk, MJF gets right back out. So it was like they're doing it right. You know what I mean? They're building anticipation, because everybody's gonna want to see these guys get in the ring. What can they do in the ring now? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
100%.
I think that's definitely the angle of the month.
That's going to be the angle of next month too, more than likely, unless WWE does something tonight that shakes
Unless they kind of go away from it for a little bit.
or unless like you said, that they do pull back.
AEW is way more likely to go away from stuff and come back to it than WWE ever would be.
Yeah,
today.
exactly. They're not
It's still,
afraid.
people don't forget, so it still builds up.
WWE wants to drill. They have I say it all the time. Like they think we're stupid. They treat us like we're stupid. Like we can't have Adam Cole and Michael Cole on the same show because they might get confused. Like shit like
it's
that.
so foolish.
It's dumb.
They treat the audience like they're stupid, where Tony Khan understands we can circle back. We can come back to this.
You could drop this until May and then have MJF just show up one day and cause Punk a win, a number one contender match. And now we're right back where we left off in fucking January.
Exactly.
And Tony Khan understands that. And I think Vince does too. But I think, there's just too much going on, too many people, too many what-ifs.
Exactly.
Match of the month, I think we might all be on the same page as well.
What do you have?
The time limit draw. That's
Hangman and Bryan.
Hangman and
Is there even a close second? I can't even think of a close second.
I mean, I would say Kenny and Bryan, but that's not in this month. That's a couple of months ago.
Right.
In the month of December.
It's the only 5-star match that went on in the month of December that I know of.
It's gotta be. I mean, it was phenomenal. I mean, I know you said that halfway through that you knew that it was going to be I didn't know until the third commercial break.
Well, so
that's not the point, though.
Halfway through the match, and then when you look at the card, there's only 3 more matches on the card.
No, I understand. But my thought, I was so into that match that I wasn't even thinking.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's not the point. The point is you're watching it.
I like every time they hit a big move, I'm like, oh, they're gonna go over now. Up. I was like so into it, so invested into it, and I think that's what separates it from every other match of the month. Is like I was so invested. I was like I couldn't wait to see what was gonna happen next.
It was like the first one too. It was like Omega Bryan. You just sit down and enjoy it for what it is, because we know what it is. Just enjoy it. It's gonna be great wrestling for a half hour.
We know that this is a finite timeline. Daniel Bryan has maybe 2.5.
So you knew when it was starting. You knew you were gonna see a good match for an hour, and the result was always kind of predicted in a weird way. I will say, like tonight, it's pretty unpredictable. The 2 main events are pretty unpredictable.
Yeah.
But like, even if I told you right now, Roman's going over, and that's all I told you, you're still gonna watch.
Yeah.
You didn't learn anything by me telling you the finish.
Right.
You didn't. You got an eighth of the information.
Right.
A 16th of the information.
I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of matches would be like that
tonight. That wouldn't stop you from watching the card.
Right. It might with WWE, AEW, different story.
If you were going to watch it anyway. And then
here's what I'll tell you. I wasn't able to, because it was my wife's birthday. I was not able to watch the last pay-per-view. It was
Full Gear.
Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
And I went home, and after we went out, and then we got home, and I was like, I'm not going to order the pay-per-view because I'm going to be able to see the results. I went and looked up the results. I saw just the results, not match reviews, not grades on the matches, and I said to myself, I kind of want to see this pay-per-view anyway. You know what I mean? That's with AEW. WWE, if
Show of the year, 2021 show of the year,
potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But with this particular thing tonight, it would take somebody coming out special, like a Rock or somebody who wasn't supposed to show up shows up for me to want to watch this pay-per-view. And that's just me personally. I'm not saying tonight has potential to be a very big pay-per-view moving forward with the WWE, like for them setting things up or whatever, but I'm not interested in WWE the way I am AEW at this point in wrestling.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think I might watch it tonight, but
There was a period from like 2015 till probably 2018 where I watched every single WWE pay-per-view. I might not have watched Raw, I might not have watched SmackDown, but I watched every pay-per-view.
well, it was like 2012 to 2015 was our run at
the
work together at the butcher shop.
Right.
And we largely didn't miss a pay-per-view.
We didn't miss a pay-per-view.
Like, yo, White Bread, what are you doing tomorrow night?
Yeah, pay-per-view.
Fucking
Right.
TLC's on. Well, I don't have plans now. I
Right.
might have, but I don't anymore, you know?
Right.
We're going to hang out. We're going to make some great food.
But
We're going to
that-
watch some wrestling.
But that again was, because like in the day, WWE and WCW were both putting on pay-per-views in the same months. And 9 times out of 10, I could order one of those pay-per-views if we didn't have the hot. I mean, we always had the hot box, but if I was going to order one, I would have to pick which one I was going to order. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and I would always pick WCW because I was a WCW guy. Now it's the same way, but I am that way with AEW because I watch Dynamite, I watch Rampage, and 9 times out of 10 I watch one of at least parts. I'll have it on in the background while I'm doing something. I'll have
Dark and
Elevation
stuff.
or I watch Being the Elite. And I'm into it. You know what I mean? Where WWE, I'm not that invested because it's like I don't want to see formulaic wrestling.
Yep. The wrestler of the month is going to be our final little piece, and I'm going to go last on this one because this is the one I do think we might have 3 different answers.
Sure.
But I promise you guys do not have my guy.
Okay.
So, Anthony, let's hear it.
I'm torn between 3. I'll tell you the 3 I'm torn between: MJF, Reigns, and Bryan Danielson. I'm gonna go with Danielson just because he's now proving. I think that the big FU to WWE. I'm gonna work these matches. I'm gonna do this. Reigns has been doing the same stuff for good stuff, primarily for the last 6 months, a year, kind of thing. So although he's been doing his thing, I want to give it to Bryan Danielson right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Danielson's my pick. I think there's not too many people better on the mic right now. I think there's not too many people's character in ring who is better than his character. I think he's wrestling a fairly tough schedule, and a tough 2021 schedule is way different than a tough 1983 schedule, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
1983 they're wrestling 6-7 nights a week. He's wrestling once a week, but he's on,
It's still marginally different than WWE is,
right, exactly.
but
300 nights a year.
Right.
yeah,
So I mean, for everything that he's doing, the matches that he's putting on, consistently having the best match on TV every single time he's on TV, consistently having the best,
Right.
Maybe barring MJF, he's having the best promo because he's cutting good promos. I mean, he's not cutting those MJF level holy shit promos. But
Yeah.
he's cutting a good. I think overall, the overall package, I think Bryan Danielson is the wrestler of the month for me.
part of me wants to say MJF because he's so young still, and he's not a care in he's stepping in the ring with CM Punk, and he's shooting promos, and it's like the guy's been doing this for 15 years.
Not many people know who they are the way MJF knows who he is.
You know what I
inside the
mean?
ring At 25 years old.
It's creepy. It's like how does this guy?
He's a prodigy.
Yeah.
He's must see TV every
100%.
over every wrestler in the world right now. He's must see.
That's what I'm saying. So it's hard for me to go away from him. But again, he's not on episodes sometimes, and Bryan Danielson is wrestling. You know what I mean? And he's wrestling at a high level.
Yeah.
So
I'm very interested to see what your choice for wrestlers, and I'm gonna guess. Can I guess what I
Go
think?
ahead, I'll tell you.
Adam Cole.
Nope. You want to guess?
just say, is it WWE or AEW?
Neither.
Mac, yeah.
Matt
I
Cardona.
knew it.
I mean,
Matt Cardona has taken. We talk about companies putting the jetpack on wrestlers. Matt Cardona has put the jetpack on Game Changer Wrestling. Game Changer Wrestling right now, in the wake of the Ring of Honor news, I'm gonna tell you they're number 3. They're. I mean, you know, we don't count New Japan as a super indie, so I think Game Changer Wrestling's like might be. They have the opportunity to become the number 1 of the super indies right now.
The Briscoe signed there, right?
I think so.
Did you see that promo they just cut? They just released like a YouTube promo.
No.
And they were shit talking everybody, like without saying anybody, without saying like
names,
not just names, but just without saying anything. They called out everybody. And I don't think we know the full potential of the Briscoes. I know people love the Bucks. I know people love the Usos. The Briscoes might be the best tag team in the world.
The Briscoes are the team I've been hearing about forever, and like they're Ring of Honor, so you don't really see much unless you're one of these people. Like we have some friends that watch the Ring of Honor pay-per-views, and
Yeah.
like, I don't watch Ring of Honor, dude.
No.
Every now and then, if you recommend a match to me, like Punk Danielson 02,
Right, you go on
I'll
YouTube
go YouTube and check it out. But I think the Briscoes were the only Ring of Honor talent that was interesting when this Ring of Honor news broke.
Oh, Danhausen.
Yeah, I guess Danhausen too.
But if you don't know, do you know Danhausen?
No.
Different, interesting, and like gets wrestling. Like,
And where is he now?
he was in Ring of Honor, but he smashed his ankle, so he's out for a while.
He's more character than like the working though.
He can work
I'm
his ass off.
sure he can work his ass off.
He can work his
but
ass
he's
off.
little, and his character is really what.
So everybody from Ring of Honor is now free agent, basically.
More or less, they've all been released from their contracts. They had the final Ring of Honor final battle. Oh no, Final Battle's Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, right?
No,
That was Ring of Honor.
Yes.
So they had Final Battle.
There's a lot of rumors going around that they're had to get their finances in order. They had to get everything cataloged, inventory. Like they had to figure their shit out before they're gonna either restart or they've just folded completely.
So they're filing through bankruptcy. We just don't know if it's Chapter 11 or 7 yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to tie it all together with Cardona, we're talking about a guy who was babyface all the way, other than his little run as the Edgeheads, which he probably has a lot to give to. Like Edge has a lot to do with him and Kurt getting mainstream with the Edgehead deal. Since the Edgeheads, he's been a face and beloved his entire career. Shows up to GCW where these guys are homers, and their guy is their guy, Deathmatch King, Gage, and he's getting like weapons thrown at him after the match, and he became probably over the last 6 to 8 weeks the number 1 heel in indie wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And he's embraced it.
He's arguably the hardest working person in wrestling right now today.
100%.
Not only has he transformed his body to being like he's an okay looking guy, you know.
He showed up to AEW and he looked like he ate himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a 10-day. It was a cup of tea.
He had a 4-week contract or whatever.
I think the reason he did
fight
that,
4 times.
I think the reason he did that is because he wants to turn his image around and go back to Vince, and I think he knew if he signed a legitimate deal with AEW, Vince would never take him back. That's why he's doing Game Changer Wrestling and all the other little bullshit. He'll be back in NYWC for a one-off, I bet.
He did what when Cody left the WWE, Cody became king of the indies and went and wrestled everybody, wrestled all the top guys in all the indies. Like White Bro was saying, he met everybody, did everything, and created this new mold of this is what you do when you leave one of the big companies. You go to the indies, you work your ass off, you sell your T-shirts, you sell your 8x10s, you do that. Cardona is taking that to an entirely new level.
He's changing the way the whole company does their merch. He's doing all of GCW's merch. He's not just doing his own merch.
Yeah.
He's redesigning the whole company's merch. He's doing everything.
But he's not just he's contracted to Impact.
Yeah. No, I know that.
So he works Impact every week. He works I think Game Changer is once a month?
Probably.
Or something like
Twice a month, maybe.
Twice a month, maybe. He's doing all the Game Changer stuff. And then he's going to like high school gyms and putting on 5-star matches with like these indies guys.
He's going to be on whatever that street is in Deer Park. I guarantee he'll be there within the next calendar year. We just got to be at that show. Psycho Circus is next month. We should go.
We should
definitely go. If COVID doesn't shut it down, we should go.
Yeah.
I'll go.
I'm in.
I've been there.
Yeah. I'm down with that. What?
I've been before.
Yeah, we all have.
So
listen, if you're a local on Long Island and you've never been to NYWC and you're a professional wrestling fan, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice.
Yeah, you need to get to the Sportorium.
I'm going to tell you right now that you just said that. That's funny that you say that because I've brought people that don't watch wrestling at all, and they're like, "Oh, really? Like, do I have to?" Blah blah blah. Guys, girls, both, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't, whatever. This is gonna be stupid. No, don't worry, you'll love it." Blah blah blah. We get in there, And after like the first 15 minutes, shit you not, multiple times, they've looked at me and go, I get it. This is awesome. I get it now. We need to sit front row next time. Like that's how they are. It's
2011. My buddy John Romanowski. You guys don't know Big John. You've heard White Bread's heard me talk about Big John. Big Cat. Big Cat moved to Ireland 2011. Prior to that, we went. Maybe it was 2010. Maybe even 2009. We went on a monthly basis to NYWC every single month. And then when I met White Bread, I was still kind of going once in a while, but not as much. And he and I started going on a monthly basis. There's nothing like it. If you anywhere you live, if you live listening to this and you don't live on Long Island, you live anywhere else, find your local promotion. Go support your local wrestlers. You never know who you're going to see there. The last NYWC event that White Bread and I went to, Orange Cassidy was there.
Chris
Statlander was there. I think we saw MJF there.
Could have been.
John Silver, Alex Reynolds, Tony Nese, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers.
Yeah.
They're all
Mikey Mondo.
Yeah, they're all from NYWC. So if you're anywhere in the country listening to our podcast and you need to get your wrestling fix in and it's not doing it for you on TV, go find your local promotion.
It's different.
Yeah, support your local wrestlers.
And like going to even AEW, the tickets are pretty cheap. It's pretty affordable. It's still an expensive night, especially you're taking the kids out. You got some sons. WWE, fucking impossible for a dad to take two of his sons out.
Oh, yeah.
A regular working class guy. You go to NYWC, if you buy the tickets early, I think it's $15 or $20.
$15 or $20, yeah.
And then it's like $3 sodas and hot dogs. And
but
shit.
everybody there cares.
Well, not only that,
they're just like so invested and so in love with the program.
And the majority of the wrestlers are either getting either the hot dog and a handshake or they're making $10, $20. So they're not there for a paycheck. Maybe one guy there is getting paid.
They're there because they love it.
Yeah.
All right.
And it shows in the product.
And the experience you're going to see some great wrestling guys who are trying to make it. You're going to get to meet every single one of those wrestlers at one point or the other. I mean, Grim Reaper. We smoked a joint with Grim Reaper out in the parking lot. I mean, you don't get closer than that. And you can go to WWE, you can meet Roman Reigns, but you're going to wait online for 5 hours. You're going to get up there. He's going to not even look you in the eye. He's going to sign your autograph. Oh, what's your name? That's great. What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And you're just one of a number. You go to this thing, they care that you came. They appreciate that you came. They want to support you as much as you want to support them. You don't beat indie wrestling at this point because it's evolved into what it is now.
It is a good experience. It really is.
Go support your local indie wrestlers, guys.
That's a good way to close the show, I think. As always, we're brought to you by House of Havoc Podcast and Tiger Brand Productions, Sachi Di Dinero, and Stay Thirsty Company. Peace out.